Since there's only three of us, do you mind doing the pledge for us, Jeremy?
Absolutely. Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think Pastor Keith Capizzi probably thought it was 7 o'clock tonight, so I'll just do an invocation for him. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all your blessings, Lord. We ask for your wisdom tonight and your guidance, and that you would guide us, Lord, in your will. And we thank you in Jesus' name, amen. All right. Hot mic. Roll call.
Commissioner Jackson? Not present. Commissioner Hutchison?
Here.
Commissioner Tumulty?
Here.
Vice Mayor Williams?
Here.
Mayor Capizzi?
Here. Can I get a approval for the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Any public comments about items that are not on the agenda? All right. Staff reports.
Am I on here? Yes, over the past 2 weeks, the staff was busy with, of course, the centennial, the air show. We've been working on the budget. We've also been working on updating our fees. Much of that work will be on the commission agenda tonight. The staff also did CPR, AED, and Stop the Bleed training. And finally, the City Hall sign is working.
Yay. Thank you for that, AJ. And just to acknowledge, Joshua Jackson's now here. City Attorney, any reports or announcements?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
All right, City Commission, any reports or announcements?
I just appreciate all our residents and businesses that supported the centennial celebration. It was a great thing for the city, and I appreciate all the city staff that did a lot of the hard work up front to make it happen. And I'm pretty happy that grass in the green space actually held up with probably close to 500 people on it that night. So, yep, everything's going good.
Anybody else? All right, I'll say something real quick. Mr. Capizzi. I did the invocation for you, by the way.
Not 7 o'clock?
No, it's 6:30 today. Anyways, I want to say thank you to everybody that made the centennial celebration a success. It was absolutely amazing. I know the city staff, for one, worked very hard on this. Kenny from Main Street, she did an amazing job with Hot Pink and all her vendors and all her volunteers. The air show, the pilots, the astronauts. This truly was an amazing 2-week centennial celebration, and I'm just super proud to have been the mayor during this amazing celebration. So thank you to everyone who did all that hard work. All right. I will end the commission meeting for now, or take a recess to do our community CRA meeting. All right, the CRA meeting is now in session. Item 1.
Okay, item 1, request to approve revised visual improvement program grant application for the City of Cocoa Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA. Staff representative, Devin Talley. Deputy Finance Director, CRA. Recommendation approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any public comment on this item? All right, all in favor?
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Any-
Question.
Yeah.
This is just the requirements for the program, correct?
Yes, it's just the requirements to apply for the actual program.
This is an update to the requirements? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're not approving anybody's grant or anything?
No.
Just approving the current, which will be current after this vote, requirement?
Yes, so once you guys vote on this current application, this will be the one that stands forward. So this will be the one they'll apply to, utilize, that CB&Ns will advertise going forward.
Devin, is it,
Okay.
I have one comment.
We
Devin,
have-
is it possible just to highlight what's changed, just to give
Yeah.
folks,
Yeah.
don't need to go in detail, just high level, like the dollar value changed or not?
Yes, so there was a few changes, so to go over them with you. So one of the changes is we dropped the threshold down to 25,000 as the maximum CRA contribution. It was 50,000 in the previous application. After doing some research with other cities and our population, 50,000 was a little excessive for our city. 25,000 kind of hits it in the right mark compared to the other ones. The other thing to talk about with this application is that effective October 1st, the beginning of our fiscal year, funding will be available from October 1st to January 1st of that same fiscal year to begin accepting applications. The reason for this is because we have a budget cycle. We budget a certain money each fiscal year period for this program, and if we extend it too far due to budget constraints and timing scope of the projects that you guys approve, there's not enough time to get it done within that fiscal year, which then results us in either requesting to carry it forward or rebudgeting it entirely if they couldn't start it for some reason. The other change to this as well is that it'll be only one grant award per structure. So this gives a fair opportunity to all of the businesses in our downtown area to apply based on the 25,000 maximum contribution instead of re-giving the same businesses the same grant opportunities, instead of, we can divvy it out a little bit, some give others a chance to apply. You've seen it over the past couple of weeks and months that we have gotten some interest in the program from a variety of different businesses because they're finally hearing about it. And I think this also makes it very clear on this new application that it is for projects that have not started. There was a really big misconception. People were applying based on work they've already done, which is not eligible. So by revising this whole application, we do also have the mission stated on the purpose of this application, because like I mentioned before, people were thinking it could be used for anything, and this just revitalizes that to stay within the parameters of our CRA plan, Florida statutes, and our budget.
Okay. I have a
One final question. I'm sorry, I once said I was going to do one. So just walk me through, because we've shortened the time period so we don't get a re-budget movement into the next year, is there, can we overcommit money and just anticipating that not all of it will be granted, or we're capped out on the commitment side as well as the grant side?
Yeah, so
Does
for
that make sense?
Yeah, so when we budget the grant, portion for this within the CRA budget, it's to be utilized that year, like any other project. If it's not used, then it has to be rebudgeted or carried forward. What I've experienced this year is that when people apply, by having the cutoff at July 1st, we've got 3 months until the end of the fiscal year. It's not enough time for them to schedule contractors to come out, get the documents to me, reimburse them in a timely manner, because we also have our fiscal year-end period at a finance department level where at some point spending stops before we go into the new budget cycle year.
So, when do these new rules go into effect? Is that the October 1st?
When you guys approve this today, it goes into effect today.
Okay, so Commission,
I will have to, just a side note, I will have to re-budget a lot of the grants that you guys approved this year in October for the new fiscal year. You'll see them again because no one has either started or just the timing issue of approving them.
so either we defer this to after we hear these requests that are coming tonight, one for 75,000, another one for 35,000, which if we voted on this, they would just be instantly cut to $25,000 maximum.
One would.
Yeah, one would, the second item, G2, it wouldn't be eligible because it's one grant award per structure.
And when you say structure, you mean the property?
The
or-
property within
Okay, got it.
itself.
Okay. Yeah, G2 would be non-compliant if this passes.
Is there a
They
time-
received a $50,000 grant earlier this year that you
So
guys approved.
if we, and Becky might have to listen up. If we defer the effective date on this till, let's say, next week, would that allow these application hearings to be heard tonight and potentially approved? That would be in excess of the 25,000 that's being, that we would be voting on?
Yes, I think the intent of this is for applications going forward,
Yeah.
as opposed to things which are already in process. So, yes, I mean, would that catch any other ones that are already in process? Are there some higher dollar ones already in process?
No, these are the only two pending that you see on this list. I haven't received any other applications.
Okay, so
for
it
the rest of
could
this year.
actually be effective as of tomorrow, or next week, whenever.
Okay, well, let's do, I would like to make amendment that this new process go into effect on July 18th, 2025. And that way, nobody's going to try to slip under the wire between now and next week or whatever. But the people that already did their due diligence based on the current rules wouldn't be hampered by that. So I'm looking for a second on that motion as an amendment.
I'm going to second it for discussion.
Okay. All right, I've got a question for you. So you already said, so one, it means one per structure. Let's just say like we have Juice and Java. Juice and Java has multiple units, or that whole thing. So are we saying now, if there's multiple units within a parcel, I guess per parcel that's singly owned, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, so if I can, so for Juice and Java, when you guys approved their grant back when, it was actually two different grants. So Juice and Java did part of their side of the building that's facing the parking lot. It was under a different property ID, had different unit number, different owner.
Okay.
The units are actually, that are following that same street, those storefronts you're talking about, are part of a condo association, differently owned, differently addressed, different property zoned.
Okay. All right, so I think the reason behind this is basically what we're trying to do is stretch our CRA grant money so that more people can use it. I love the projects that we've already approved, and we've been, I think, very generous in them. My only concern is if we continue to give somebody money year after year, basically we're funding a big portion of that project, and it doesn't benefit the whole area as a whole. So if we give people money year after year without even letting them finish the first project they started, then you want to give them more money before they even finish the first project. It's just, it's almost, it seems unfair to other applicants.
Yeah, and to me, my concern is it encourages breaking up projects. I know I'm going to do all this, but if I break it out, I submit once, I break it out, submit twice, break it out, submit three times.
I agree with you on that.
So
I love the concept of it, and I would, so we've seconded deferring this so we can consider G2 and G3, but that's going to be my comments on G2.
Right, but that doesn't mean we have, just because I made the motion to defer the new rules that go into effect tomorrow, doesn't mean
Understand.
that we have to approve any of the ones that are coming forward to us tonight, or we could approve them at a reduced amount, or not at all, or at the full amount. But this just gives us the opportunity to consider those projects at what they're presented as.
And apparently historically, when I was on the commission the last 2 years, this didn't get a whole lot of visibility over the last year, so I'm glad it is getting,
Yeah.
I think there actually is awareness now. And
Right.
we're seeing Juice and Job, we're seeing the Point Church, we're seeing Dirty Bird, so I think it's gonna continue, an epic, yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and with Commissioner Williams, changing the process midstream for an applicant is a little bit, I would imagine, frustrating for them if they've already done the work and collected all the information, only to find out that we're changing the application process and they've got to modify their package. So I tend to agree that let's keep the rules the same for the applicants that are here already and have done the work, and then making sure we amend it appropriately to capture the increase in interest.
Quick question, but the former ones that we voted on, that were awarded the 50,000, they're still gonna get the 50,000 and all that, right? This is just moving forward, with future applicants.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just wanna make sure that everybody that we promised money to gets the money we promised them,
Well, they actually haven't got the money yet, have they?
but they will.
No, so when you guys agree to approve a grant, they go through the project phase, then once they're done, they submit all of their invoices, copies of canceled checks, engineer design reports, building permits that have been approved, all for that project scope, if applicable. We go through all of that in our finance department, and then it goes to the city manager and the finance director for approval, and then that disbursement goes out to them for those funds.
But they're committed to the 50 grand already, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Based on the agreement and what you guys
Perfect.
approved.
They're committed to up to that amount.
Right.
Depending on what receipts they bring in and all.
Yes,
And
'cause it's
what is the what is the point, or delineating point where that starts? So if there were we accepted a grant tonight, is that when it's the point that it's accepted? And then whatever they do after that, the receipts they bring in, that's basically what they get, whatever we've allowed to up to, X amount of dollars, correct?
Yes.
So by moving this to tomorrow and changing these from 50,000 to 25,000 tomorrow, it's not going to affect that. Once we've set in motion a CRA grant.
Yeah, so for example, if you guys were to approve these tonight the way they are, and Commissioner Williams' amendment to have it start tomorrow would just be starting tomorrow, any hypothetical applications I got going forward would be bound by those rules. These that you have tonight would be acceptable based on the old policy.
these are the last ones with the old policy.
Okay, I understand. So on the last point, under program details, it says funds will be allocated on a first-come, first-served basis. Only one grant award per structure based on the order of request and available funds. Now, is that in perpetuity, or is that for 1 year? Is that for 5 years, 10? We don't have a specific time frame on that either.
I would think that, Becky, correct me if I'm wrong, that we could tie that to the ownership of the property.
I mean,
If the property changes hands, then the future owner could apply for another grant, even if the previous owner had gotten a grant.
it would be up to you, however you wanted it to.
But would that be copacetic?
I think under business entity would probably be better.
I doubt
if they
it.
wanted to change.
I disagree.
It could. I mean,
I disagree
it's up to you.
for this reason, unless they completely changed the business, yes. But they could change the ownership every day for the next week.
Yeah.
And get 7 grants.
I think
So-
business entity.
So if it was well, they can do that too. That's my point.
Yeah.
There's always ways to circumvent it, so if we catch up to those before, to say we limit it to 2 years or 3 years or something like that.
Okay.
But the CRA isn't going to go much. We've only got, I believe,
It
6 more
sunsets
years.
in 2031.
Right, 6 more years. So,
So my suggestion would be, we're going to have another CRA meeting. We vote on this, and we task our city attorney to come up with some kind of language that would work in the future for either a change of ownership or a change of business,
or a specific term, length of time.
I say we vote on this as it is, and then we can have her figure out the language for the length.
I'll do that. I'll
the
bring
length.
something back at the next, I'm not sure when the next CRA meeting will be, but
Okay.
Or I can bring it back to the city commission and just give it to you,
Yeah.
and then you can
We
make
can move to a
comments.
CRA.
But it won't be, we won't be deciding on it till the next official CRA
Correct.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I have an amendment. We could call the question on the amendment, or do we have public comment?
Do you guys want to vote? I guess we'll vote on we'll have a public comment on the amendment. How's that? Anybody have public comment on this amended? Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Mark, this is just the part about making it start tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mark Granger, 141 St. Croix Avenue, Cocoa Beach. I think it's great that you're considering the fairness by delaying, because some of us, Epic Board Sports and ourselves, some of us did put a lot of due diligence and effort into meeting all the application. Now, obviously, you guys can decide whether it's worthy or not, but I think it's only fair to at least let us stand up and have our day here and try to convince you. One thing, comment about your, here's what I'm thinking. I own a property, and that property has a tenant, and as the property owner, I wouldn't want that tenant to apply for a grant and then ruin my ability ever to beautify my property after that tenant leaves. So you got something to think about of, is it the property owner, or is it the tenant, the business owner? Right now, it doesn't delineate between the two.
You do have to, I'm familiar with the application, and the application has to be signed by the business owner and the property owner.
It does, but I guess
So-
what I'm saying is I would say, sorry, I'm not going to let you beautify the property because maybe I want to be able to do it in the future on my own or a different tenant. It's not going to be simple, but just something to think about.
That's why we tasked Becky, the wizard, to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I get it. You don't want your tenant
Right
taking
now,
your
a
ability
tenant
to
can
do it.
apply, and they have to get the property owner to, the landlord to sign off, or the property owner can apply on their own. And I'm just thinking to myself, if I'm the property owner, I might hesitate to sign off on my tenant doing improvement, because you're going to ruin my grant if it's in perpetuity. I would argue the best thing would be to say every fiscal year you're limited, if you're going to limit something like that. But again, you guys will come up, you're smart, you'll come up with something.
Thank you.
We vote on the amendment?
Okay, you guys ready to vote on the amendment? All right. All in favor of the amendment that Skip Williams said on this reading?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. All right, motion passes 5-1,
We got to vote on the main motion.
Only 4-1.
4-1. Okay,
We have to vote on the main motion.
all right. All in favor of the main motion? Aye. Aye. All right, motion passes 5-0. All right.
Okay,
Number
item 2, request to approve Dirty Birds grant in the amount of $35,000. Staff Representative Devin Talley, Deputy Finance Director, CRA, recommendation approved.
No motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any public comment on the approval of the Dirty Birds grant in the amount of $35,000? Come on, Mark.
So Mark Granger, representing Dirty Birds. I did send you guys all an email today, and this is obviously a hot topic, trying to come back for a second ask. Over the years, the funds do not get depleted. They've not been taken. I'm glad to see, as a business owner, I'm glad to see more businesses step up and do it. But to date, the funds are there. We completed all the work for the first grant. We are not intentionally dividing properties with the intent of trying to get multiple grants. And I think, as I explained in our email, we have had a hardship. Now we're up to about $1 million in developing this property, and we haven't changed an inch on the building as far as the structure. It's just decoration, really. But it's all because of this nightmare issue we've had with the stormwater, that we were told when we went into this by the city that we won't have to deal with stormwater. Certainly that's been done previously, only to find out it wasn't done. The stormwater task has been almost $250,000, $200,000. We didn't moan and cry and call lawyers. We just buckled up and we're getting the work done. We are running out of funds. We do want to bring this last phase. We were hoping to be open for the air show. We were hoping to be open for the 4th of July. We were thinking spring break. We're trying to get open by Labor Day, and we're not rich business owners. We're local business owners, and we're trying to get it done, and we could use the grant money. It's for a specific new thing, and that is to get the palm trees in and the pavers down, and I did explain that it will benefit the city. Our contractor will, as part of our project and our cost, will pay to bring the pavers to the property line, which they don't go now. It looks unfinished, and the city's going to need to do something about that. And I know there's talk about maybe we could bury some electrical power while we're doing that too. So I just ask you guys, I know optics at first, but sometimes you dig into things and you go, this is not unreasonable.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark, remind me, what was the value of the first grant that you are intending to submit for, 50K?
It was
50?
90-something thousand at first.
50. And-
Say again?
Yeah, it was for 50, and we did the cost of that was for all the tikis.
Yeah.
The cost on that was about 138 total. And you guys, that money was well spent. It really was. It's not like we're sitting around keeping loads of money in our pocket going, hey, we're getting the sucker city to pay for this. We're not. We're trying to get this project done, and we do aim high, and I think you can see that we're using that money to a good purpose. That when you look at what we've got there, that how gorgeous it's looking, and it's going to be iconic. It's really going to be something.
All right.
It's
Thank
just
you,
not a
Mark.
money grab. I just want to tell you that. We really could use it.
You did an amazing job. I love everything you did over there. I'm super excited about it. And in my opinion, it was money very well spent for the city. So I appreciate you, and honestly, I think you've done better than just about anybody around here without trying to put anybody else down. But you're spot on. It's just so amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. And we could not have done all of that without that grant. It did bring the other pieces around the top. It was spent, my grant money did make, we had a plan A. If we get the grant, we can do all of this. And if we don't get the grant, it's going to be down. It won't be as awesome. It'll be nice, but
In my opinion, that was the best use of $50,000 in a city that I've seen in a long time.
Thank you.
So I'm just.
And for 35 more, we can really show you something.
Okay, thank you. All right, I just wanted to ask Devin real quick. So are we able to have people ask for money before this fiscal year is even over for the next year, before it's even started? That kind of seems premature.
No, so the cutoff based on the old application was July 1st. But then what happened was we canceled the meeting in the beginning of July, and these two applicants had submitted in late June. So I was obligated to bring them forward based on our application for you guys to hear, which is why we're at this meeting. But that's why I set a new threshold that I've compared to other cities that also have fiscal year budgets where it's October 1st to January 1st. Gives them enough time, a couple of months to apply, couple of months to come to you guys, over a course of multiple CRA board meetings for your approval, enough time, for legal to approve agreements, and then enough time for the remainder of the fiscal year for the project to get going, to get started, and to even finish before the end of the fiscal year and submit for reimbursement.
So Epic Board Sports, we're not talking about them right now, but is it, so this is for them for next year?
Yeah, essentially I'll have to rebudget because we're going into August, and that's not, 2 months isn't a long time for them to do the project, get reimbursed, and have adequate overview over the documents they're going to submit. It's too much of a time constraint.
Okay, and so after these two today, no one else will be able to apply until after?
No, applications are closed. October 1st, people can reapply.
So, okay, so if these ones are too specials to apply. Okay, sounds good.
Who wants to get it in before midnight tonight?
Right. Thanks for clearing that up. Thanks for clearing that up.
I got a question for Devin.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I'm done.
So Devin, on this page, it says, install pavers and turf, okay? $53,000. And then it says install palm trees and irrigation, $17,000. So if you get receipts toward this their $35,000 matching grant that have nothing to do with pavers and turf or palm trees and irrigation, you'll deny those?
Not eligible, they get kicked back. So it's based on.
Okay, I just want people to know that, you know, there's a potential that they'll spend less and our matching will be less.
Yes.
One more thing. So we have, next going forward, we have $100,000 allocated for our CRA grant money, right? For the next year?
So it varies. I do a comparison with other cities and what we've done, and, you know, I compare it to 2 fiscal years prior, and then that's how I set the amount. But it comes to you guys for approval at the budget cycle by line item, so you'll see how much we allocate for, and that obviously will be separate from the ones that I'm re-budgeting. So you'll see line items for the re-budgeted specific to each applicant based on the agreements approved here at this fiscal year, and then you'll see a single line item with a bulk sum of money for new applicants that apply.
So these two will draw from the 25 money that rolls into 26.
What I'm getting at, though, is we pretty much in the budget right now, I think we put about 100,000, or maybe Hannah, you would know.
Yeah, I have those
100,000
numbers.
for that.
Yeah.
Because what I'm
so-
getting at is we're going to depreciate 70-something percent, 75% of next year's budget tonight.
That's what I'm saying, is they're pulling from 25 budget because we haven't committed 100%. We haven't committed the entire 25 amount. They're pulling from that bucket of money. Although they won't spend it in 25, that money will roll forward into 26 in addition to the 100K. So the
Yes.
two applicants tonight won't draw from 26.
Okay.
Sorry, Devin, if I'm taking over.
No,
Okay.
that's correct.
All right.
The full 100,000 would still be available for new applicants beyond these.
Okay. All right. Any other comment on this one?
I have one comment, and Mr. Granger alluded to it, and it has to do with the art show and power on the east end of Minutemen. We basically put our stage up there every year for the art show, and we've always got to run power down there. It's very convoluted, and there's problems, but if it were to run along that sidewalk, along there, you see on the structure, they put in that wood structure, almost like a fence or the wall, and just below that, and run it out to the corner would be beneficial. I did talk to Mark about that potentially before they put the pavers in, that we run that power down for the art show. It's something we've had. We have power right here on the corner, for Friday Fest, for the band down here, for the small band, but this is for a big stage, like a 30-foot stage. It's as wide as the street.
Right.
So that would be a separate city project and a separate city budget item.
Yeah.
So it would be needed to be acted on before Mark starts laying pavers. So we need to talk to the city manager about that and bring that back before he starts laying pavers. And I
Yeah.
think he wants to start laying pavers as soon as possible.
I'm not sure what his time frame is.
Well, he wants to get the place open.
Yeah, all right. Okay. That's true as well. So what, as far as Devin, if I can ask you a question, what was our budgeted amount for the CRA grants this year, fiscal year 25?
So our budget amount for fiscal year 25 was $330,000 for that, and that includes both a carry forward amount from the previous year and then along with what was newly budgeted for fiscal year 25. And I can list like the money dollar amounts of each application if you don't mind. So we did $25,000 for Coastal Market this year. That was actually closed out and done. The project started this year, it closed out this year, they were reimbursed this year like it normally would go according to plan. We had $30,000 for the condo association on the store unit fronts next to Juice and Java. We had a separate grant for the side of the building of Juice and Java that faces their parking lot structure. We had $50,000 for Dirty Birds that was previously approved this year, $50,000 for the Point Place Church that was previously approved, $10,000 for the Catalyst Shop, And then there is a side 25,000 for Main Street that was approved at a commission meeting way early on in the fiscal year to come from these funds.
And that, what was it, what's his name? I'm trying to think of the other one for 50,000, what was it, Eric?
No, that was.
DiPolito.
That was the year before.
That was it?
That was the year before.
That was the 70 from 23, yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, the takeaway there is, in 23, there wasn't a whole lot of funds exhausted, so a significant amount rolled forward, but this year, we're getting a lot of applicants.
Okay. The only thing I see about this grant, and I'll just say it, is, I mean, I love the project, I love Mark, I love all the guys that are involved with that. It's just to put 50,000 out, okay, cool. But then to do another 35,000 before that project's finished, and then to try to, it's like we're trying to give them more money than we're trying to give everybody else, and we're trying to like squeeze it in and give them a bro deal kind of thing. And I want to be fair to everybody, and that's just the way I feel about this. So I'm not going to approve this, but I understand it's a great project, so I'm just telling you guys how I feel about it. I'm ready to call it.
I want to have another question. I have another question.
Yeah.
And this is long-term and from the past. So we've given out CRA money, CRA grant money to various grants over the last 10 years probably, right? We started it at least 10 years ago, maybe a little longer. Initially, it was a couple $100, $1,000 here and there. The CRA generates hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And it's only gotten more every year. It's increased every year since the CRA has been active. We did use a lot of the CRA money for this project, for City Hall, actually for the green space. It wasn't for City Hall, let me clarify that, because it can't be. It's got to be for green space or for beautification of an area. And that's all it can be used for. It can't be used for anything else. This isn't city money that's, our city money from our budget that's being used. It's CRA money. It's a different pot of money that can only be used for certain things. And this is, and these CRA grants are basically all we have left. I don't know what else we can use it for with respect to any city property, because we don't have any more city property that needs improvement in the CRA zone, do we?
The only property is the parking garage.
There's 300,000 in the budget to fix the parking garage?
Yeah, a lot of that CRMA money is held in reserve for future repairs to the parking garage, which we get to bank at the closure of the CRA.
Well, absolutely, and that'll help. Basically, the parking garage is close to, it's funding itself at this point, correct? And if we, down the road, decide to change the price for parking, that'll be that much better. I guess my point is, we're going to, down there for the next 6 years, we're going to have a lot of money available for grants. And hopefully at 25,000, we'll use it all up, but we can continue, will we hold that money at the end of 6 years? And will it be sitting in an account where it can go to grants, or what happens to it?
No. No, but we can hold the money that we put for parking garage maintenance.
No, we can't hold the money?
You can't hold money for grants after the closure of the CRA. But if we have money in the city coffers for maintenance on the garage, I think we can hold that money.
Another question for you, Devin. So isn't Minuteman to 4th Street North part of the CRA area?
Yeah, it's within the boundary lines.
Because honestly, Brevard Avenue looks very run down. I would love to spend some of that CRA money on redoing the sidewalks or pavers between the sidewalks and the road to make the sidewalks bigger for the e-bikers and bicyclers, and also remove some of that blight, because So there's lots of money that we could spend the CRA money on, and make the city a better place. I just feel like, you know, we just haven't really taken the initiative to tackle some of that stuff. So, that's.
So my suggestion would be to get with our city manager and city staff and come up with some concepts and some potential pricing for that kind of stuff and bring it back to a future CRA meeting.
Awesome.
And then I would also, to Commissioner Tumulty's point about the power going out to the east end of Minuteman for potential use in the future. I would ask the city manager if you could work with Mark, and conduit's cheap. You don't have to actually run the wire, but if we can get our city staff to figure out where that would need to run from and to, you don't have to budget to put in the junction box. You don't have to put the connection on the other end. You just get the conduit down before they lay the pavers. And Brad's about to jump out of his seat to tell me I'm all messed up. So come on up, Brad.
No, Skip, you're absolutely right. I was just wanted to see if I could do a walkthrough with you and the owners to see where we need to lay this.
Absolutely.
With our city electrician too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl.
And Daryl. yes.
Yeah, I mean, basically conduit gray, you know,
Yeah.
UL, NEC approved conduit, get it down before he lays the pavers, then we don't have to pull the pavers up and put them back down.
And Kenny as well.
Okay.
So,
Can I set up a meeting with you?
Yeah, we'll work that out. Thanks, Brad.
okay, could the commission give a head nod to that?
Absolutely.
Head nod? Okay. All right, let's vote.
All right, let's call this vote. All in favor of giving Dirty Birds a grant amount of $35,000. So should they use it all?
Signify by saying aye.
Signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Motion passes 3-2. Congratulations, Mark. All right.
Okay, item 3, request to approve a commercial visual improvement program grant in the amount of $40,000 to Epic Board Sports LLC, located at 358 North Orlando Avenue, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32931. Staff representative Devin Talley, Deputy Finance Director, CRA, recommendation approve.
Move to approve as read.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any public comment? Any commission comment?
Yeah, just same thing where they're showing, you know, repair and update the front facade, install impact windows and doors. It says already purchased. So Devin, if they already purchased those, we're only paying for the install, not for the windows and doors.
I have Jennifer here from Epic Board Sports. She can come up to speak to that because I've talked to her at length about how this is for reimbursement for after the fixtures and improvements are done, so they're very.
Right, but you're astute enough not to pay them for their windows and doors that they already purchased.
No, they are not
Right,
reimbursable.
and then remove and replace asphalt lot and apron and the road sign. So whatever they submit has to fall into those categories.
Yes.
They can't
Because
come
those
up
are what the
with,
estimates
they
are
can't
based
come
on.
up with other great ideas and say, here's our receipts.
No.
Okay.
All right, any other commission comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right. The commission will reconvene. Oh, wait, you know, we're going to take a 5-minute recess for Skippy Boy here. This meeting to order.
Is it tonight? Oh,
All right, thank you. All right, H1. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay, H1, staff is requesting that the City Commission set a proposed millage rate of 6.1644 for the fiscal period 2026. Staff Representative Hannah Human, Finance Director A.J. Hudson, Interim City Manager, recommendation approve.
Okay. Good evening, Hannah Juman, Finance Director. The presentation tied to this agenda item is to set the maximum proposed millage rate for fiscal year 2026. Okay. For informational purposes, the term millage, it refers to the tax rate that's applied to the taxable value of real estate for the ad valorem property taxes. The presentation today, it'll cover two proposed rates. It will cover a rolled back rate of 5.6945 and the current rate of 6.1644. We'll also discuss the total and real estate taxable values, evaluating the differences between the current rate and the rollback rate, along with the impact it has on the taxpayer. There are 3 steps in setting the millage rate. First one being what we're doing tonight, setting the proposed millage. These are requirements that are provided by the truth in millage process that are held by the state. What that provides is that the rate would have to be set before August 3rd. Tonight, tonight the commission will set the proposed millage rate of 6.1644 in this meeting. The next steps, 2 and 3, are the tentative millage and the final millage. Florida statute requires 2 public hearings. The first hearing is set for September 4th, and the second budget hearing is set for September 18th. That will be when the final millage is adopted. Okay. As previously stated, the rollback rate is 5.6945, which requires a majority vote, and the current rate of 6.1644 requires a Commission 4-1 vote. The rollback millage rate brings in the same dollar amount received in the prior fiscal year. 1 mill equals $1 per thousand of taxable value. A millage of 6.1644 is equal to $6.16 for each thousand of taxable real property, just for educational purposes. Cocoa Beach taxable values. The property appraiser provided that the total taxable value of Cocoa Beach real estate is $3.2 billion. This is a 4.11% increase from prior year's taxable value. And the taxable values for the prior year is listed right below at 3.1. For the CRA, the funds collected through the tax increment funding or TIF funding are used to implement the CRA's mission of reinvesting to the designated zone, funding projects aimed at revitalization and beautification. This is what Tim alluded to earlier as well with the grant funding that we receive and it being used back for the facade grant and for other purposes that benefits solely the CRA. The next slide demonstrates the effect on the homesteaded taxpayer at the rolled back rate of 5.6945. For a taxable value of $300,000, the monthly amount in taxes would be $142. So this is just to show how it actually breaks out based upon those taxable values. Below, the chart below, it shows the city's taxable value with the $3.2 billion figure that was shown in the previous slide. With that taxable value amount at the millage rate of 5.6945, It would allow for a budget of $17.8 million with a $1 million allocation towards the CRA projects and $16.8 million going towards the general fund. Similarly, on this next slide, it shows the effect on the homesteaded taxpayer, but at the current millage rate of 6.1644. This would allow for a budget of $19.2 million with a $1 million contribution to the CRA, allowing for an $18.1 million contribution towards the general fund. The difference in budget between the current rate and the rollback rate is $1.4 million. The next slide shown here, it shows the monthly and annual impact to the taxpayer when evaluating the current rate, 6.1644, compared to the rollback rate of 5.6945. The annual difference on a $350,000 taxable value with homestead exemption would be $144 annually, or just $12 per month.
You misspoke, you said a $350,000 property, and you meant to say 300,000.
$350,000 with a homesteaded exemption.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry.
After the homestead.
Yes, after the homesteaded exemption is there.
Forgive me.
Okay, the last slide that we have here shows how Cocoa Beach compares to our neighboring local governments in Brevard County. Satellite Beach, who's most comparative to us population-wise, they have a proposed millage rate of 7.9. These are the proposed values for this current upcoming year, fiscal year 26, that we were provided with. West Melbourne, their rate is 1.81, but it's mostly commercialized and not residents. That is why they have that rate. Cape Canaveral doesn't have the same city services, so for other cities, it's difficult to compare to Cocoa Beach because of all of the facilities that we have, because of the coastline that we have, because of the volume of tourists of 2.5 million that we receive each year. Those all make impacts for us because with a smaller population group, through ad valorem taxes, we're having to support the cost of our high volume of tourism.
So
Yes, sir.
just to point out, between Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, it comes up every cycle, is Cape Canaveral's like, close to half of what we pay, but they also have a tax for their sheriff's department, who's their police force, and their fire department, and their EMS, top of that, which is a fair chunk of our budget. So that's basically why theirs is comparatively lower.
Not to mention in the recent years, the growth of the hotel industry over there producing way more tax revenue over the last 3 years than they've ever had. So we don't have that luxury of increasing our tax base.
Does the commission have any questions in regards to setting our max rate? And this is just to clarify the maximum rate that we're setting.
I'll move to set the millage rate at this meeting at the current rate, which is 6.1644%. Or 6.1644 mils.
So he's making a motion.
Current millage rate is what I made the motion for.
Got a motion in a second. You guys want to comment? Or?
Where we hold steady at the current millage rate. Thank you, sir. Where we hold steady at the current millage rate, we are effectively taking advantage of the increase in property values within the city, both business and residential, right?
Absolutely.
Do the increase in property values within the city effectively drive an increase in the cost of providing city services in any meaningful way?
Yes.
Okay, so could you walk me through a little bit of where increasing property values drive cost of running the city?
Well, increasing the property values generates more revenue for the city. when there's more revenue that's created for the city, there's other services that can be offered, or the revenues are used to go back to the city to maintain our facilities properly, to continue the services that are already offered, and to also grow, expand, and complete projects. There's a number of items that those funds are used to support.
One of the key pieces of that is we have increases to the city payroll. Okay, so that increase in the property values that comes in as an increase in property taxes helps us to have the funding for our city employees, so that my goal has always been to keep our city employees in their, pay grades and their position descriptions at a level above the average for Brevard County, so we can retain our experienced, good employees and be able to attract replacements for employees as they, retire out or leave for other jobs. So that's where I see most of the additional funding going to.
And I think
Plus, gas has been pretty steady, but there's other things that the city has to buy to maintain the fleet, of vehicles, to maintain our equipment, the capital projects to replace equipment that's getting beyond economical repair, and those replacements cost more than they used to.
Yeah,
All that
inflation, and I
figures
also
into
agree with
where
the
that extra money
principle
goes.
that
Yeah.
understand inflation, agree with the principle of making sure we are better than competitive with our city employees. And I also, we've got to be careful not to assume that we don't have city employees that retire and new entry-level folks coming in. So it's not static, and there's just not continuously growing up. But I guess the key point was we've got to make sure that we understand that a growth in property prices isn't a growth in and of itself. There's no relationship to the outlay that the city has to support and provide services. There is certainly inflation, right? And we've got to recognize that, but our residents also bear that, and our residents don't necessarily get, quote, millage increases from their job. Where we see 2 to 4% increase in income growth, we see closer to 5% in cost of living growth. We've got to remember that we add whatever increase, even if it's small, it's a growth in effective cost of living increase to our residents. And so I just want to be balanced that just because we have increased property prices doesn't increase the outlay from the city inherently.
Let me just real quick. I think I can explain this in the simplest of terms. So for example, I'm not for raising taxes either. I've said this before. I honestly don't think I'll ever vote to go beyond our current millage rate. But it's as easy as you go to the grocery store last year, you paid $3 for a box of cereal. The sales tax was 7%. This year, you go to the grocery store, it's $4. Sales tax is 7%. The tax didn't really change, but the value of that, or the cost of that goods went up. So not only does it go up for, okay, we're not raising taxes, but we're keeping the millage rate the same, right? And yes, we're taking in more revenue, but everything we do, whether it's the city goes and buys, let's just say a box of cereal, they're still buying that box of cereal. It's gone up. They're still paying the employees more. So we're not saying that, well, because your value of your property is more, we want to take more of your money. We're just saying, let's just keep this tax rate the same so that we can pay for the increase of everything else around us. Otherwise, we don't. And let me just, one more point real quick. We had a year where we had former accountants and other things happening where it put us in a really weird spot here. And I think we all know we need to build our reserves back up. And I do think if we keep this rate, the main goal should be to put our reserves back where they need to be. Not give not to cut, but to put us back in a safe spot where we need to be. So that's the reason why I would go for this, is because I want to make sure that our reserves are where they need to be moving forward, because we've been depleting them without really realizing it.
So a couple of comments. I'm encouraged that I might have some support. I've been the commissioner that has pushed back on taxes every single year. I don't support this because this is a tax rate. It's a tax increase of 8%. It's not unique to Cocoa Beach. Every single city on here has got the cost. What you're referring to is inflation cost. And I have a problem when taxes are exceeding inflation. If inflation's 3%, we're asking residents to pay 8% more. And it's we have record high property valuations. We're doing exactly what the county was asking us to do at lifeguards. They had record high tourist collections, and they wanted us to take on a cost of the lifeguards. We're doing this to residents. So I don't support it. If anyone's interested, I got real charts attached to this agenda. I won't bore you with the details because I suspect how this is going to vote.
Anything you want to say?
Well, I agree that the issue here is inflation, and the value of properties have gone up. We also have sold a lot of homes in Cocoa Beach. Okay, so those homes that are selling that were under homestead and had assessed value of $200,000 are now assessed at $1 million, because they had a value of close to $1 million, or over the last 5 or 6 years, but due to homestead, they kept their assessed value through the property appraiser down and could only increase at 3% per year. The assessed value could only increase at 3% per year. And Skip, and I've had my house for 15 or so years. You've lived at your same house for, I'm not sure how many, 20-some years, 38 years. So, if you were to sell your house, all of a sudden, we've got more money in the coffers, not because of the millage rate, but because of the assessed value changes when someone buys a house. So that's incorporated into the numbers and that we're talking about as well, as far as that increase. When you say, it was an 8% increase, because even though we kept our millage the same, it has a lot to do with the homes that were sold this year, which increased the, I'm not sure the term, the gross
Taxable value.
total taxable value of the property in Cocoa Beach. If you were to take the average, what is the average assessed value of a home in Cocoa Beach? Roughly 300, 350
or something.
Okay, so your numbers are right on with the 300. So if we maintain our current millage rate at 6.1644, then it increases approximately $140, little like $11 a month, basically, $12 a month, actually, for our average homeowner in taxes. Now, when you look at, you say, well, that's an 8% increase, Mr. Tumulty. I said, well, yeah, it is for the city of Cocoa Beach, but if you actually looked at your full tax bill hasn't really changed much in the last 10 years. And I had a presentation I gave at a previous meeting where I showed everybody's the value of everybody's property and that it only went up a certain percentage. But that was the total taxes per year only went up 1% per year over the last 10 years.
I was the one that paid just about the most.
Yeah. So, if you look at that and you say, wow, our taxes aren't going down. I was trying to come up with an analogy of it, and it's like going to, when you use a grocery store. So the cost of pineapples go up 10%. They were $10, now they're $11. But your you bought a pineapple every day, but your grocery bill stays the same. You're buying all the same products because some of the other products went down. And that's what's happening with our overall property taxes. The county's millage rates are going down due to the influx of development and population in West Brevard County. And that's why our overall taxes are actually staying the same or adjusted appropriately in that respect.
And
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Just a real quick, and don't forget, we did also vote to increase the city manager's wages 80,000 more than we were paying the previous year. So, up to. So keep that in mind as well.
So, I'm in my 18th year as a commissioner, sitting up here, setting millage rates and doing budget battles. And we can check the records, but I've always, or almost always, voted for the current millage rate, okay? And probably 10 of those years, I lost out to commissions that raised the millage rate from the current millage rate. And I made all my arguments, it's all public record. So I believe we need a healthy city financially. I believe we need to attract qualified employees that will be dedicated to the long term of this city and to maintain the employees that we have now. And I realize that the price of things goes up. I mean, if you look at a fire truck that we bought 15 years ago and the one that does the same thing now, and the price went up, 45%. So it takes money to run the city, to provide the services that everybody expects out of this city. I don't want to use the word tax, but the burden that the tourism from not just our city, but from the cruise industry, from people driving for Orlando and all that burden, unfortunately, we end up having to bear that burden to keep our residents safe, so all those folks that come into our city don't get to just run amok and trash the place. It's extra work for Public Works to go up and down the streets. I'm up early, I go to work early, and if I'm late for work, at leaving and going down A1A at 5:45 in the morning instead of 5:30, I'm already seeing Public Works trucks out there, picking up trash after a weekend on the sidewalks and on the side of the road. And it would be hard for me to believe that was our city residents that were throwing their trash and their beer cans out of their car before they pull out of the parking space so they won't get caught with an open container even though they're driving home under the influence. I can't do anything about that burden, but that's an additional cost that's basically burdened onto this city to keep the people that live here and work here in a safe environment. And we got to pay a little extra for it. We do. But I support the current millage rate.
Any public comment?
AJ's got one.
Right,
I would just say that we have a city of just over 11,000 people. We have over 100 police and firefighters, certified police and firefighters. We have 3.5 square miles. We have a small city that is very, very busy. We have to be ready to deal with the peak loads that come with the events that we have. Some of the events we create ourselves. Some of them come from a launch, from spring break, from snowbirds that come down in the wintertime.
Weekends?
Weekends in the summertime. We have to be ready. We have to have sufficient public safety personnel to deal with all of that, to be ready for the peak loads. And to deal with the issues, we have 6 miles of beach, and on that beach, on the weekend, and we've all seen it, we hear from residents how unhappy they are on a Sunday afternoon when the beach is trashed, but the problem is the landfill is closed on Sunday. And I think, from a tourist standpoint, the quality of tourists that we get, they come here with good intentions, but they bring their disposables to the beach, and at the end of the day, at 4 o'clock, they start putting their trash into the receptacles, and it starts to spill over. And then, once it spills over, then they're throwing it on the ground next to the trash because they're trying to do the right thing. But that's what we're dealing with in a small city like this, on a barrier island, on the ocean. We have the corrosion issues that go along with living in paradise. So the reason our property values are so high is because y'all made this city really nice, and you ought to be proud of that. But it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Okay. Janice? Thank you, Hannah.
Good evening, Janice Scott. I love this subject. Every year for 20 years, we have talked about this. Business is booming in Cocoa Beach. I mean, just had the fabulous weekend of the air show. The county commissioner for our district, he loves to say, aren't your businesses booming? Why do you need money from us? So I have a little bit of heartburn about not rolling back, because by your own admission, the property values that have lost their, or no longer are homesteaded, they bring in more money. So all these places that the income is increasing, why are the residents never getting a break? One of the things that I never see surveyed here is who is using the recreational facilities. I see a thing on the agenda for tennis. I love tennis. That's great. But we're always paying $1 million, $2 million, $3 million here and there. We have a lobbyist, $48,000. What has he done for us? I think you ought to fire him and save $24,000 just to start. It's really difficult to see you talk about how much you care about the residents, but they never get a break. There's always a reason why they can't get a break. You ought to lower the millage, at least ask the staff, take a 2% cut out of your budget proposal and see where that gets us. Lobby yourselves to the legislature for TDC to pay for the lifeguards. You don't need to pay a lobbyist to do that. Apparently they didn't do that this past legislative session that just ended. But to constantly say, oh, and there was a proposal, to one of the former commissioners, that we need to look forward to make sure that we get all of these capital improvements paid for. Well, I think people who live here, who move here in the next few years, should be paying for those improvements. What are you going to do when all of these capital improvements are paid off? How are you going to keep that millage? You'll find a way, I know, because it just seems to be the state of affairs. Are you going to lower it to 3 mils? Because, oh, now the fire station, the garage, the police station, and the city hall are paid for? We get to pay for them. Why don't you give us a break? Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Any other public comment? Any other commission comment?
Yeah, I've got a comment. First of all, a rollback rate is a dollar amount. So the dollar amount that we received last year in ad valorem taxes, whatever the number that is what we would get this year if we did the rollback, the exact dollar amount. Now, by doing that, your tax is going to change because your assessed value is going to change. So not everybody's going to get that, because some people are buying a house and it's just going to go up on some properties. You made a comment about I lost my train of thought on this. That you come up to all these budget meetings, and I made this comment at the beginning of this meeting to a couple of folks, that the budget is one of the biggest deals that we have, and Skip, you've seen this every year. No one comes to a budget meeting. You do, Janice, but you're the only one that comes to every budget meeting, as well as the commissioners, over the last 15 or actually maybe 25 years or more. But we've got tennis folks here, we've got CRA folks, we've got short-term rental folks, we've got everybody else, more people for each one of those than the total that's here for the budget. So that's, I guess, how much they care about it, because in essence, we're talking about $100 a year if we keep the current millage rate, so it's relatively insignificant. What's significant is the services that we get here in Cocoa Beach and that we maintain those. Another thing you mentioned was that we want our future residents to pay for these facilities. And that's exactly right. But by spending $3 to $4 million out of our reserves to fund the city hall, depleted our reserves, and it reduced the amount that future residents of Cocoa Beach will pay for City Hall. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's because it's true. And that's my point on this. And in addition to that, we spent reserves that were earning more money than what we got out of it by spending it, what we could have got from a loan, right? Yes, that's a fact.
No, let's not go into that.
So anyway, that's where we are with that, and I think we should, since we're done with public comment, we're ready to go with a vote on this.
Mayor, I want more comment.
1641.
He's got a comment.
Go ahead, you guys.
So just to be clear, rollback, it's absolutely, I can afford it. I don't want to challenge you on your financials. I don't think you should be challenging me on financials. Of course, I can afford 144. It's about the principle. I mean, you're literally asking a $60 million budget to challenge $1 million, $1.4 million. That's 2%. If you can't challenge 2% in any negotiation, you probably shouldn't be. So it's not the dollar amount, it's insignificant, I agree, 140, but it's the principle of it. So I know that's how this is gonna go, so I'm not gonna belabor a long-winded point, but I'd like to hear Josh's point, because it sounds like there might be a second commissioner that has a conservative, responsible approach.
So I'll offer a bit of a metaphor, but if you're underwater and you're drowning, an inch underwater, 10 feet underwater, doesn't make a bit of difference. But if we've got residents who are seeing cost of living increases outpace income year after year after year, a little bit more. What's a little bit more? Well, that's farther underwater, right? So every time our residents, and I agree, we've got some residents that are doing really well, and that's awesome, and I love that. I would like all of our residents to be at that same level. Folks are in different spots. It's not just the little more that the ad valorem increase due to our property value increases adds. It's what it adds on top of the already falling behind to the cost of living adjustments that we see every year, and it has outpaced income. And I don't know for everybody else, it's outpaced my income drastically, right? There's been some relief, but it's not been enough. And so for the residents who are falling behind, I think it matters a lot more. I look at this and I take Commissioner Hutcherson's point. In terms of what it means to the city, consistently overachieving, not just setting to adjust for inflation and the cost of expenditure, but continuing to grow the city budget and its expenditure, not meet inflation, but go beyond that. We've got to account for that as a commission, right? So it's not just meeting inflation. And I agree with many of the principles the other commissioners are saying. We want to take care of our employees. They are incredible value to us. It's if you take care of them and they stay, we win, right? You don't have to retrain. You don't have to hope you get as good as you did last time. But we can account for that by looking at the cost of living increase and making sure we're addressing that. We can even go over the inflation increases that we're seeing that would drive the the impact to their personal budgets and make sure we're addressing that better than any other city. But that's not what we're doing by simply capturing the rise in the property values. To Commissioner Tumulty's point, we have seen significant turnover in properties. We just lost an incredible family, right? They're moving back to Texas because they can't afford the reassessment on their house that the county put on because they decided they built we're incredible children from our school nurse, and just an incredible family. They can't afford to live here, right? And so I think about those kind of situations, and I know it doesn't hit everybody, but as a commission, we've got to be careful to balance our approach, and where we've been consistently capturing the increase in property value that's driven in part because we have the best place in the world to live. And I agree with the city manager. Doing a great job has its own cost. But we've seen many other things driving the cost of property increases, right? The sale, the cash value, the over asking price, those kinds of things drive property values as well. And it's not just resident demand, but it's a number of other factors that are artificially inflating the property values that residents get no benefit unless you sell and leave, right? You only pay the cost.
Can I ask that the difference, and this might make it easier for these guys, the difference between the rollback and the proposed millage rate? I mean, can we pretty much, is it safe to say, or is it possible that we could say that pretty much all of that could potentially go towards our reserves, the difference? Or, I mean, if I vote for this, that's what I would like to see, at least a difference go back into the residents fund for reserves.
That's a budget
I know, but I'm just
discussion.
saying, like,
So hang on, so to be
You
clear.
can't make her commit to that.
no, I'm just saying, is it reasonable to think that
The proposed rate and the rollback rate, it's $1.4 million or 4.11%. In our next budget workshop on August 19th, what would be presented to the commission at that time is a balanced, at whatever rate is decided here tonight, budget showing the allocations for how everything is. We're evaluating at this time all of the department's requests. We're looking through everything, and that's going to be part of the presentation on the 19th, showing the overview of how we plan to have our budget structured for fiscal year 26.
Because if we can reasonably do the rollback, then we could reasonably put that extra money towards our reserves.
I get that, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. We just said how everything costs more to operate the city. If it was as simple as the excess gets put in reserves, I don't think that's, and none of these issues are unique to Cocoa Beach. I get it. This is the greatest place. I don't ever want to leave here, but and I don't ever cross the causeway, but this isn't unique. I mean, how are cities cutting their budgets? Of course we won't have the best employees. They won't have the best employees. Their cost of gas is going up. Their cost of fuel is going up. So I don't buy those generic, everything's more expensive, because we're basically 3 times what inflation rate is. So inflation, yeah, 3%. We're asking residents to pay 9%, 8.5%.
If I may, the increased rate, it doesn't only go towards personnel services. It also goes to capital projects. It goes to the operating costs of the city. It helps support some of the items that we showed to you guys in Budget Workshop 1, where everything was itemized and the directors had the opportunity to speak to each project that they requested. It's fleet vehicles. It's a number of things that it takes to have the city run as a whole. So there are a number of things. The other thing, to kind of echo on what AJ stated earlier, is something that makes our budget incredibly unique, is that with just over 11,000 residents, that we're supporting the high volume of tourism, which is unusual, and it's not the same volume of tourism that's seen in Satellite Beach or in our neighboring communities. So I feel like coming into the city, evaluating the budget that we have, that our residents are having to support the cost of these tourists because of the volume. We have a lot of city staff. We have public safety officers, fire, PD, that have to offer their services every weekend, every day to the tourists. We have folks that come in through the port. A lot of, I guess from Orlando, this is the closest beach as well. So with the high number of tourists that come here every weekend, it's a lot of services that the city has to provide.
I understand. My basic question was, is it feasible to think that that's something that could possibly be budgeted in? I'm not saying that, I'm not holding you to it. I'm saying, I'm hoping if I vote for this tonight, that that's a serious consideration.
There'll be money that goes into the reserves.
I want to see at least this, but that's my,
Why do we think that that would come out now? We needed reserves to operate last year. So it's not like we're all of a sudden going to be running cheaper this year. I get it, there's some fluctuations on capital,
No,
but we depleted reserves. We didn't add to
for
them.
this building, yeah.
The
I got
best
it.
practice is to have 2 to 3 months of operating costs in reserves,
Agreed.
okay?
And if we're
So
compliant to
if
that,
we don't have that now, then we need to build that back. Because when our past practice was, before hurricane season,
I got
we
it.
had Crowder Gulch on contract, ready to go, in case we had a storm come through here.
Agreed, and we voted to raise that
And we paid for
threshold.
that ahead of time, so that when the storm came through, they were here within 48 hours picking up debris.
Right.
Okay? And that cost, and having the FEMA people follow them around and estimate the volume of the stuff they put in their trucks and weigh in their trucks at the dump and all that, there was a cost involved with that. And then we had to wait 2.5, sometimes 3 years to get that money back that we spent out of our reserves. So yes, I agree, reserves are a big issue, but that's part of the budget
Right.
process. That's not,
I'm
we're supposed to
expressing-
be setting the maximum millage rate tonight.
Yes, and I'm expressing my reasoning why I'm going to vote for this, because I'm hoping that you know, and I love you, Hannah, I think you do an amazing job, and I think you really do care about the city, and I think you really do care about what we want. So I'm just expressing my opinion that I'm going to vote for this, with you knowing the reason why I'm voting for this.
I think the statement that was just made was very salient. Residents are paying for tourists. I think the city has got to look really hard at how we ensure that tourists pay for tourists. We're not doing that, we've got to fix that. And it should not be continuing to increase the cost on residents to pay for tourists to come visit.
Great point. In the past, there's been reluctance to raise parking fees considerable amount.
Yep.
And that needs to happen.
Yep.
We need to, and we're going to look into that down the road here. We're going to talk about that at some point. But right now, I want to keep this item in the forefront, not get in the weeds anymore.
Okay.
I think we have 3 votes to vote on this. I suggest we.
4.
Oh, we need 4. We need 4 for the final vote.
No,
We don't-
we need 4 to set this.
Majority
For
for
the
rollback, 4
maximum
for.
proposed millage rate.
Yeah.
I do want to state that the city is looking into increasing our revenues in other areas outside of ad valorem taxes. As you guys know, I am a newcomer to the finance team here with the city. In that doing so, I've been evaluating different practices that we currently have. We're looking at different studies right now. Under development services, we're looking at an impact fee study to have that completed, as you all are aware, to see if that is a feasible revenue source for the city, along with increasing our rates for parking, where tourists will bear the burden of those rates that we'll see later on tonight, with a number of other items. There's also other revenues that are happening for us in different departments. For example, like leisure services, their auditorium is booked out for the next 3 months. With some of the improvements that have been made by the city, we're now seeing revenue trickle in to show that it was worth the expense that went into it. We're seeing a return to come back to the city. So we are looking at other revenue sources, seeing that in the future years to come, we don't want to continue the burden on residents.
Okay, so we don't get 4, if we don't get 4 for this vote, then we vote for the rollback rate, I suppose.
If you don't get 3 for that, then that don't go through either.
Yeah, so what do we do in the event that
But
we?
why don't we just do the first
All right,
vote?
let's do this one. Current millage rate. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Is this a roll call?
Roll call vote.
Oh, roll call, okay, sorry.
Commissioner Jackson?
No.
Commissioner Hutchison?
no,
Commissioner Tumulty?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Capizzi.
Yes.
So it fails Becky and Karen and Michael because we didn't have 4-1?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, like I said, if somehow we could get a pretty solid acknowledgement that the difference would be put as much as possible to go towards reserves, could we get there?
You're talking hypotheticals now. Do we want to increase reserves? Of course I do. I'm probably the most fiscally responsible one up here. I want to have that reserve solid. So I don't want to sound like I don't want reserves, but I don't know how you can get that commitment. I just want to manage the cost side, not keep raising revenue, whatever it comes down to.
All right. We could sit here and propose numbers all night long and never get a passing vote, okay? So I'm going to make a suggestion. Nice round number, 6.000. 6.000. We don't have the math. It probably comes out to $9 a month increase on a $300,000 or $350,000 house. Okay, so I'll go with I'd like to make.
It's significant. It's significantly less than that.
Okay, I want to make a motion that we go with a maximum millage rate of 6.0000. And I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Okay. You guys want to vote?
Any public comment on this second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we got a roll call.
Commissioner Jackson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hutchison,
Aye.
Commissioner Tumulty,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Mayor Capizzi.
Aye.
Eureka.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We dropped it down.
Oh. So you voted to raise taxes?
Okay.
You could have been here
Next.
tonight.
How about that?
Okay, and next is item 2, confirm times and dates to set the tentative and final millage and adopt the budget for fiscal year 2026. September 4th, 2025, 7 p.m., first public hearing and vote to approve tentative millage and budget. September 18, 2025, 7 p.m., second public hearing and vote to approve final millage and budget. Both meetings will be held at City Hall, 2 South Orlando Avenue, Cocoa Beach. Staff representative Hannah Juman, Finance Director A.J. Hudson, Interim City Manager. Recommendation approved.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Okay, commission comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next.
Okay, this is the consent agenda. Item 1, approve the June 19, 2025 Commission meeting minutes. Staff representative, City Clerk Department, recommendation approved. Item 2, Planning Board, appoint Warren Berger, replacing Mr. Matt Shar, to serve a term ending November 2028. Seat 2, Commissioner Jackson. Item 3, adopt Resolution 2025-12, a resolution of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, authorizing application for the acquisition of federal surplus property located at 3750 Ocean Beach Boulevard for public park and recreational purposes and providing an effective date. Staff representative Brad Calzo, Public Works and Water Reclamation Director, recommendation adopt. Item 4, adopt Resolution 2025-13, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, adopting Cocoa Beach Centennial Square usage fees and providing for an effective date. Staff representative A.J. Hudson, Interim City Manager, recommendation approved.
Move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay.
Okay, item K, unfinished business. Item 1, adopt ordinance 1698 on second reading, an ordinance of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 26.5 Vacation Rentals of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cocoa Beach, revising provisions as to occupancy to prevent the use of vacation rentals as party houses and to not include infants under 2 years of age in the occupant count, and providing for conflicts, codifications of building, and effective date. Staff Representative Dave Dickey, Development Services Director, recommendation approve.
Move to approve ordinance 1698 on second reading as read.
In a second. I've got a couple concerns about this one and just seeing if you guys maybe would agree. Hypotheticals, what if they need a repairman there? To have another truck that comes in to fix something. There's no way somebody's going to fix something within 15 minutes. So I've got a problem with the 15-minute rule there.
Then those repair trucks need to have a logo, even if they got to go get a 8x10 and tape it onto the side of their car, so the code enforcement will know that they're somebody working. It's not just somebody with a pickup truck pretending like they're a construction worker.
So
Yeah, that's where code enforcement or police will make a call on that, like, oh, yeah, you don't live here.
Okay, and then where do we get the under 2, Dave, if you wouldn't mind, the under 2 age limit? I was thinking, I mean, there's a lot of families that have, 4 kids each, if they have 2 families that come in.
Right now, the way the ordinance is written, you could have an infant that's 3 days old and it would be counted
Right.
as a resident. The 2 years, from what I understand, under Airbnb, they do not count them. That's where the 2 years came
Okay.
from.
So I was
Whether it's
wondering-
good, better, and different, I don't know.
Airbnb's policy.
That would, yes.
I mean, can it be like Denny's where under 12 eat free, or is that, you guys, are you okay with that? I mean, just say like you have you got some kids over for a birthday party and now all the kids can't come. I'm just trying to think of fair scenarios for families that are trying to come here and visit.
You're suggesting raising the 2 to 12?
Yeah, to 12 years old, because they're not adults, they're not throwing house parties, they're throwing birthday parties. At that age, you're throwing birthday parties. I mean, that's the way I see it. I'm trying to be family friendly here still. So,
I mean, so, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just aligning with what Airbnb classifies?
Yes,
Yes.
that's where the 2 came from.
So to me, I think that's a good precedence to follow. We've heard the comments from the chief of the enforcement.
And these are done on a complaint basis. So if there aren't complaints, nobody's going to go counting heads.
okay, so nobody really agrees with me on either one of those, okay. Any public comment on this? All right, any other commission comment? All in favor of this ordinance?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Commissioner Hutchison?
Aye.
Commissioner Tumulty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Williams?
Aye.
Mayor Capizzi?
Aye.
Okay, item 2, appoint a member of the Space Coast League of Cities Committee. Space Coast League of Cities meets second Monday at 6:30 PM at Hosting City. Space Coast League of Cities Intergovernmental Committee, second Monday, 5:45 PM at Hosting City. 2025 voting delegate apparently was Tim Tumulte. 2024 voting delegate Carolyn Wolas. Commissioner Hutcherson has alternate delegate, Representative City Commission.
So Tim, is it something that's just, you can't make it
Yeah.
anymore
I had too many obligations on Mondays and I
on
couldn't
Mondays?
make it, yes.
Okay. So looking for a volunteer, free dinner.
Oh.
I vote for the mayor. I
do we have a-
nominate the mayor.
Did we get a second on this, or we don't need a second, I guess? Yeah,
We got to have
Move to appointment.
consensus at least from the commission.
Yeah, agree.
I consent that our mayor will do it.
I'm already,
Making a motion that the
so,
I second that.
I'm already on the TPO board. I go to the TPO board every
So?
month too, you guys. And I do ribbon cuttings and I have a lot of stuff going.
You've got a vice mayor for that.
You can delegate it to the vice mayor.
So the vice mayor would want to go to these when I
Yeah,
can't.
I'll take over your art show obligations.
I'm not going to nominate
Main Street
anybody,
up.
but unfortunately,
your alternate.
I cannot.
No, you can put, you do it as a voting member, and I'll be your alternate.
You actually to go?
Not unless it's in Cocoa Beach. I'm going to the next one. I'm going to the next one. I went to those for 10 years.
Gotta do all the boards now? I'm on the art
You
show.
work
I'm
the
on the-
least.
All in favor?
You work the least out of all of us.
Mayor? Can I say-
Retirement is a lot of work, okay?
I'll be the alternate.
I'm gonna, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just be like Tim, and I'll be like, guys, I can't do it, all right? So, I'll do it, and if I can't, if I don't feel like I'm doing the city justice, then I will step down and have somebody else do it that's better at it. But if I make an obligation, I will do my best to try to make it.
All in favor, nod your heads. We don't
Voluntold.
have to vote, do we? Karen? We all
All
nod
right,
our heads.
all right.
All right, next,
Put me on another one.
next, Becky.
Okay, new business. Item 1, approve the renewal of the USTA contract is revised following negotiations between the city and USTA Florida. The updated agreement includes a 10-year term in exchange for USTA Florida committing to a one-time capital investment of $1,150,000 to renovate the 6 existing tennis courts. Staff Representative A.J. Hudson, Interim City Manager, recommendation consider.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, the USTA, United States Tennis Association of Florida, has put forth a proposed amendment to their contract. The contract that they have now, the inception was in 2017. The contract provided for up to 2 extensions. The current contract will expire on 11/30/2026. The USTA proposes a contract extension. We have representatives from the USTA here, and I will defer to them to explain their proposal. But before I do that, I just want to cover what the obligations that the city has for the current contract. The city provides phone, water, and sewer service. We maintain the plumbing, electrical, and HVAC systems. We provide 10 paved courts and 2 clay courts. We're responsible for resurfacing up to 10 paved courts. We mow the areas around the courts. We repair and/or replace the lights, the netting, and the fencing. We do structural maintenance and carry the insurance on the Tennis Pro Shop building. And we're responsible for the repair and replacement of the clay court watering system. The current obligations of the USTA in the contract as it exists today is to manage and operate the tennis facility and provide tennis services. They provide a minimum of 3 certified tennis coaches. They provide accommodation and access to the general public. They provide court space for practice and match play for Cocoa Beach schools. They pay the city $12,000 a year, and the contract says that they're to pay 10% of net profits, but they're a nonprofit, so that's been nil. So with that background, I'll turn it over to the USTA representative to explain what their proposal is.
Real quick, AJ, too, that was, you're stating our previous obligations.
Correct.
Not the ones moving forward.
Right.
Okay.
Hello. My name's Laura Bowen. I think I've been here before, so I know most of you. I'm the Executive Director at USTA Florida. Just a few clarifications, and thank you for going through that, Mr. Hudson. We actually replace the nets, and we provide $3,000 per year in clay resurfacing material. We do that every year. And we also cover both phone and electrical bills at the location. I sign off on those myself. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page on what we currently cover. In terms of the proposal that we've made, I think you all know that we have really struggled with the courts and the conditions of the front 6 courts. They were really cracked and in disrepair prior to the hurricane that came through in 2022. We did try to work with the city to actually repair those courts and rebuild them. I did watch the working meeting that you had when Scott presented to you, and you asked some really good questions, so I wanted to answer them for you today. You asked about the location of the light poles and how those locations, like why there was an issue with that and why they needed to be removed. You can certainly look it up, and I think a lot of you are engineers, but the location of the light poles being on the periphery is really important for light coverage, which is a safety issue when players play at night, and we do have a lot of dark spots on the courts. I think Scott explained to you that the repurposing of the lights on top of the current poles isn't really ideal for safety. And then a lot of the old infrastructure in Florida did put light poles on the courts, like in between the courts. And in order to accommodate people running to the courts, if you watch tennis, a lot of times they'll run to the side of the alleys, particularly if they're playing doubles. And it really is a safety hazard. So they're padded for that reason. That's sort of the poor man's solution, so to speak. But in ideal cases, they should be on the periphery. So we've worked with several facilities to improve that over the years, and we did come up with a proposal from Musco to actually do that for you all here. You also asked a question about why the courts needed to be completely redone in the surface that you currently have. Scott did a very good job of explaining that. Because you're in a coastal area, you have a lot of material underneath that's very soft. So again, I'm not an engineer, many of you are, but what'll happen is that over time, those will just continue to crack. So you can resurface it cheaper, and what'll happen is those cracks will return very, very quickly. So the vendors that we work with, what they'll do is they'll put more of a crushed concrete underneath that will stabilize that, and so you won't need to resurface them as frequently. So we took this to our board, and initially we were going to ask for a $1 million maximum spend. They discussed it at length. And what we did was we took these prices to them and we added a little bit of a contingency fund there, which we did agree that would be used to cap off the electrical units that you have once the light poles are removed. So we did agree to absorb that. And we also will absorb any other overages that come up as a contingency fund while we do the renovations. So I think included in our packet, the 2 quotes that we got, that would be at our expense, obviously, to work with them. And then certainly, in terms of what we're paying now, over a 10-year period, that would equate to about $120,000 at our current fee. So clearly, this is a better option for you all as a city to take $1 million off of the plate. We are asking for the city to remove the current light poles, and I know there's a cost with that, and I think Mr. Hudson has gotten a quote for that. We did help secure that for you also. That is the ask of the city, and then we also asked that the fencing be replaced, and I'm not sure if you guys have a quote for that yet or not. So this certainly has been a journey for us. I think we've been trying to do this for 4 years now, and we hope that we can get it done so that our players can actually have a safe courts that they can use, and that they can, feel good about going out there and playing without having the courts being cracked going forward. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Yeah.
So you want us to remove the light poles, but you're also asking us to put the light poles back as well? To pay for that?
No, we're doing all of that. So you guys just have to remove the current light poles. We take care of the lighting system. You actually get a new electrical box, which has been an issue at that facility for quite some time. You get the new electrical box, and Musco, the contractor, provides a 25-year maintenance-free warranty. You will not have to do anything with the new lighting system for 25 years. They maintain it.
And why exclude the fence?
So I think initially, like I said, $1 million is a lot of money, and I think initially we had discussed with the city that the city was willing to do that. Again, I know you have changes in your city staff, but I think that was on the city's radar previously.
Okay. AJ, do you know what the obligation would be to us as a city to try to meet their requirements? My one concern is I believe also after you build it, you want us to maintain it, right?
Currently, like I said, we maintain the clay courts, and we also maintain the nets, and the windscreens.
And the expected lifespan of a court that you have redone would be about 5, 6 years?
Yeah, it's a little over 5 years, so certainly, depending on how things go, you wouldn't need to do this type of expense. It would be more of like a standard resurfacing, and we have grants for that, so arguably, you could get a grant from us to do that.
And you're talking about you're going to take care of 6 of the 10 courts, so we would be responsible to take care of another 4 of those
You
courts?
already did those, actually, previously. That's how we worked with the city prior.
Okay, so, and then the agreement would be, obviously, in 5 or 6 years or so, when they need to be resurfaces, that would be on the expense of the city?
You could apply for a grant to do that work, and we likely would award it.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be this magnitude of capital investment.
Fixing cracks and stuff, it would be just restriping and repainting.
I support this. I think it's a no-brainer. The revenue that we're giving up for a massive, they're experts, they know exactly what to do. It's a great amenity that I think we can have some competitive talent here. So I support it.
So I love what you guys do, and some people think that I'm against you guys, but I'm not at all. I'm for the residents, and the reason why previously I wasn't as excited is because I wanted you to be more inclusive. I wanted you to have more staff and more. Well, I wanted pickleball too, but I don't think you guys are going to agree to that. So my only concern about all of this, because you've added the extra instructors and the staff and all that, and that's what we wanted, and that's good faith. I wish that we were more inclusive to the entire community, and I know pickleball, and so my only qualm on this whole thing is that for 10 years, we're absolutely never going to allow people to play pickleball there. So.
Well, we got pickleball courts, we got 3 pickleball courts.
Yeah, so anyways, but I want to say is, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I like it. As long as is a good opportunity for us to get the grants to continue to maintain this to your standards. I think this seems like a good deal. Now, if we had to absorb the cost to maintain it further in the future, I'm not as excited about it because I just don't want to set us for a 10-year contract because it's a long time, for something that doesn't last 10 years.
I totally agree, and that's why I wanted to clarify on the clay courts that we maintain those. So we will continue to do that. That's $3,000 in terms of the material that we put down every year. And certainly, I think our board wouldn't have agreed to a $1 million investment. This is unprecedented for us. So they really want to be here, and they want to make sure that the facility is at the highest level. I think that we have increased the grants that we have available, so I'm fairly confident that you would get a resurfacing grant and would cover the cost when you get to that point. And then, of course, for hurricanes and those kind of things, I know previously we tried to give a grant for that, and it really didn't happen within the timing that we needed it to, but that certainly is something that we continue to offer as well, and I do want that to be recognized, that you do have an opportunity, should you have a storm and your fencing is damaged, we do give grant money to help with that as well.
I don't want to make a dime off of this, but I don't want it to cost the residents either. So as long as this is a net zero thing, I'm all for it. Any other public comment? Thank you. All right, any commission comment?
What you said was well said.
Okay.
I think tennis is well regarded in our community.
State your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
And what kind of tennis racket you use?
Don't disclose it.
I'm Kathy Granger, St. Croix Avenue in Cocoa Beach. As a 17-year player at our Cocoa Beach club and the former VP of the Space Coast Tennis League, I just want to attest that that facility is a home court to more recreational Space Coast tennis and USTA teams than any other public facility in the county. In addition to recreational play, the Cocoa Beach facility provides summer camps for Cocoa Beach kids, training, coaching, and hosts tournaments that draw players from all over Florida. During the past year, the Fee Avenue, DeSoto, and Kiwanis public courts have all resurfaced their courts, and 2 of those facilities replaced their lights. While our courts have new lights, they were installed and propped on top of the old cement light poles and they were designed at the height of traditional stadium lights. Since Milton, our lights are leaning, they're dangerous, and they don't provide adequate lighting for night play. The court surfaces are drastically worn down, have faded paint, cracks, and traffic cones placed over damage to cover hazards. In comparison to the other municipal courts, our courts come in last place. The commissioners and residents approved USTA to manage the Cocoa Beach facility, and the management has done an exceptional job increasing staffing, coaching, and programs. They've done everything you have asked while operating as a nonprofit. If the facility mirrored the quality of the staff and the programs that we have currently, we would be one of the best tennis facilities in all of Central Florida. So I'm begging you to please approve this contract. They're really great people and they're members of our community. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy. And John, you can attest. I mean, I do love that facility as well. I don't play tennis, but I really do care about it, and John can attest. I've been down there multiple times trying to make sure that, you know, the mold was taken care of, or the roof, or the shade structures, or the weeds were sprayed, or the trees were trimmed. So again, I want to make sure you guys got the best for what you guys need. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, item 2, fiscal year 2025-2026, budget request for CPI increases from June 2017 to the current city attorney agreement with CPI adjustment for years going forward. Staff Representative City Attorney Becky Vos, recommendation consider.
You should have had to recuse yourself from reading that. I'll move to approve.
Second.
You're excellent.
I'm sorry?
You're excellent.
I'm an excellent?
You are excellent.
Well, thank you.
You really
Thank
are.
you. I appreciate that.
I just did the quick math. From 2017 to now, to get to that 315 would be $9,450 increase per year. So, and if you want to do the percentage of what 9,450 is against 240,000, it's not it's not a huge percentage.
4%.
And as there's people in this room that know AJ in particular, Janice in particular, we had a lot of lawsuits with our former attorneys. And when we interviewed and hired Becky, she showed us her track record, and she says, I'll finish all the lawsuits you have now, and you're going to have very few in the future. And over the 8 years, I can't remember, maybe more than 4.
Well, I definitely keep them down because I get involved in everything at the very beginning, so there aren't any missteps or wrong moves or whatever. And another thing, our law firm does not make its money when the city gets in trouble. And that's I hate to say that about some other firms, but other firms do make more money if their cities get in trouble, and then they bill hourly for the litigation that they probably should have stopped to begin with.
Becky is on call 24 hours a day. I don't know if you've ever missed a phone call from me.
Oh, I hope not.
You're willing to, and if you did, you would call back in a minute. We don't have to, it doesn't cost us anything extra if we have questions, which is amazing. You know, that a lot of times you would have to get billed extra for those extra questions, or you'd be afraid to ask. Yeah. We have the ability to ask her anything that we need to regarding the city without thinking that we're going to cost the residents more money. So the nice thing is we know exactly what we're going to pay, and to me, I just want to thank you for always being there and available, and I think you deserve.
You're going to make me cry.
All right. I think you deserve it.
Pulling on that thread, the availability is tremendous, and on a firm fixed, you're exactly right. If if you're not firm fixed price, you build in hesitancy, people not have to exercise the services. So you've taken on all of the risk for the last 7 years of not having, whatever scope gets thrown your way, you have to defend it. So I'm glad and I think it's just fair to backfill and catch you up to the CPI. So thanks for the availability, appreciate it, and I will support this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to pile on because I think it's worth saying and agree with everything. But Becky, you've been incredible, huge help for us. And I think the fact that we have seen such cost of living growth, such inflation since 2017 and to not have seen any adjustments or even asking, we've got a committed partner here that is just a wealth of value for the city. So I endorse this completely.
Karen, after the vote, can you record this whole session on a CD and send it to Becky so she can listen to it?
She's recording it.
It's on YouTube, buddy.
Music background.
If I can ask you, Becky, when you initially signed up with that contract, you didn't have a CPI or COLA
Nothing.
on that?
Stupidly, we did not.
Okay.
That was
You had a better lawyer.
That was obviously a mistake, but, we have, year after year, our expenses of our law firm just go up dramatically. And what we have to pay, and I'm not complaining because we've got incredible attorneys who work for our firm, but we used to be able to hire a top graduate from University of Florida Law School for maybe $65,000. The last one we just hired was at $115,000.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
It's a coincidence that, your costs for your business are going up, so are city costs.
Yeah.
And our employees. Imagine that.
Yeah, same thing.
Oh.
No, I agree with you.
I mean, obviously I'm making
No.
just about our situation, not yours.
I know.
Okay, I already called public comment, right? Yeah, okay.
Well, it's right there.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's not tied to the direct.
All right, let's go for the vote
tax
on this.
in Cocoa
It's getting
Beach.
late. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
It's smattering of.
Okay. All right, next
Yeah,
item.
where are we going for dinner after this?
Whoa. And she probably could tell you shouldn't have said that.
Okay, next item is adopt ordinance 1699 on first reading, an ordinance of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, adding a new section 26-14, parking on city-owned or leased property of Article 1 in general of Chapter 26, Traffic of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cocoa Beach, providing provisions for parking on city-owned or leased property and providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. Staff Representative David Dickey, Development Services Director, recommendation approved.
Motion.
Second.
Any public comment? Could somebody explain this in layman's terms for the people so that they know exactly what we're voting on? Come on, Dave.
Yes.
Or you can
Okay.
do it,
Oh, no, go
whoever
ahead.
wants to
No,
do it.
Dave, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, this is your deal, right, Dave?
Yes, I'm involved. Yeah, in layman's terms, this, recently when this building was constructed, we started looking at the parking around the building and who should be parking where. And one of the things that we discussed was having employee-only parking, and we started going through the code on what the process was to establish that. There's nothing in the code that provides policy for the city to go out and start designating no parking areas, employees only, hours, anything like that. It's blank. So we thought it would probably be a good idea to establish a process to do that. And so what this ordinance does, it provides the city manager with the authority to designate these areas for parking-related issues. And it allows the city manager to designate, to get signage and erect signage There's also a penalty clause in there as well, so for violations to those parking regulations, it's all in there. So it's just basically creating a standard and creating a process for the city to regulate its city-owned and leased parking areas.
And obviously, Commissioner would have the ability to override that, for example, if they didn't agree with something, because then you would just redo the code.
Well, I think the commission always has the ability to get what they're interested in getting. And that's, I don't know if there's anything in the ordinance specifically says that there's an appeal process or the commission can step in and direct the city manager. But my experience with city managers is if a city commission wants something, that the manager generally provides, make sure that's.
Yeah, not that we would step in on management, but if, for example, as a whole, we wanted to,
yeah,
obviously,
sure.
we just change the ordinance.
So let's say, AJ, down below this building, you wanted to designate some spots, be it for
Golf carts.
important people or people that have to be able to come and go in a timely manner, like back and forth to Public Works, like Brad, or something, and you wanted to designate those spots with the sign, okay? Yes, okay. But we need to have some way to bag those when we have special events or stuff where it's not during business hours, so that, as part of the process for setting up for a special event, you could bag those and then they'd be available for other people to park in, even maybe mark them for some of the vendors or such.
I mean, the one thing to consider is the parking down below. We're a 24-hour operation. We've got firefighters and we've got communication officers. We always need parking for city vehicles, and there's not that many down below.
But the communication officers, I would think, would want to park over on the other side. And the fire department people ought to have enough spots in their lot, and you could designate those.
We have code officers that work on the weekend. We have.
They park up on top of the parking garage.
No, not always. If they can park down below, they'll park down below.
We have a lottery for the employees as to who's going to get the spots down below?
No, in fact, I mean, when I started, they asked me, do you want your own parking spot? And I said, no. I don't think the city manager needs to have his own personal parking spot.
The commissioners we used to have parking spots,
Yeah.
and we got rid of those a long time ago.
Right, and there was a city manager parking spot in the.
Right.
But
I would suggest that we go through with this, and this is a great opportunity for the city manager. Basically, it gives him the ability to do that. And I would expect, as I have experienced in the past, that the city manager would speak to each of the commissioners individually before doing something like that or changing a parking space to get the concurrence from the commission. And even though he can do it, he would like the city's or the commissioner's consent, which I expect would happen just about for everything. So I think this is a great, verbiage change to make that possible, so that we don't have to come to a commission meeting to say, oh, that should be a public parking and we shouldn't charge anything on that parking spot and have a big thing about it. Just do it. And
yeah, I would think that a couple on this side, not particularly in the covered parking, maybe a couple of the handicap spots, but that should be designated for, people coming to do city business, but then it's only from, 8 to 4:30 or whatever hours you could do city business, so that, people aren't camping, so people can use them at other times.
I think that's probably a great idea, Skip, but I think that's something you should talk to the city manager about in private, and then bring it, he can make that decision and bring it to us, and we can go forward with it. I don't know what we're talking about.
I think we should hire.
We shouldn't be talking about hypotheticals.
I think we should hire a parking consultant for about $50,000 to try to figure out how we can maximize the use of our parking spots.
We also need somebody to make our meetings more efficient in that respect, too. We can have somebody up here that can limit the number of words a commissioner says during a particular
I mean, I could do that, but I don't want to be that person.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, I think,
Was just kidding about the consultant.
yeah. You guys need to settle down. I'm going to lay the smack down over here.
Hey, we get along better now than we ever
You know,
What are you talking about?
you guys do. I'm proud of you guys.
All right.
Thank you. All right, we already had public comment. We thought we did, but if you want to come up and say something else, go ahead, Janice. I guess because you didn't know what it was tonight.
I was kidding about the consultant.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm only going to say that the parking under this brand-new city hall is very limited. It's probably a fourth or one-third of what it was in old city hall. So did you all anticipate, since you reviewed the plans, for people to park? When I come here in the evening for a city commission meeting, you can drive around under the building. It's all city vehicles. And I'm just curious. I know you would miss me if I was going around and around First Street South.
I have an answer for you.
Looking for parking. I might park over at the fire department. They probably know my car by now. Thank you. I think you should give the city manager.
Parking garage is free after 7, so commission meetings are at 7.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right,
Almost, yeah.
go on.
Okay, item 4, accept the engineer's recommendation of award for the bid submitted by C&D Construction, Inc. in the amount of $913,787.30 for bid number CB 25-007, Ramp Road Stormwater and Parking Lot Improvements. Allow staff to enter into contract with C&D Construction, Inc. This project was awarded grants from FDEP and Save Our Indian River Lagoon, Sorrel. This is a budgeted capital project. Staff Representative Morgan Zulke, Stormwater Utility Manager, recommendation approved.
Move to approve as read.
Second.
Motion and second. Is this a 50/50 grant? Are we responsible for half of it, or?
These ones do not have match requirements, but for grants, we have 740, oh no, I'm thinking 6,000 in grants. And then the remaining will be budgeted in most likely CRA or general fund for the remaining portion.
Thank you.
Yep.
Janice?
Ramp Road, that's in the CRA. So what is the CRA going to contribute to this project? Also, I have a question about if you, I guess she has a grant, there's only 200,000 left, right?
150-ish.
Yeah, can you use the CRA to pay for that?
She said that.
She just said that.
Do what?
She said
said
that.
that.
Okay. And I also want, well, this is a bad example, but I did want to ask, when you have a capital project or whatever, and it comes in under, say it's 80,000, it comes in at 60, where's the 20,000 budgeted go? Is it going to go to the reserve, or is it going to go back into the general fund? Thank you.
I think you give the extra 20 to the contractor.
It goes back to the reserves.
Oh, okay. Good.
That was past practice. Hannah's doing a phenomenal job going forward, so thank you, Hannah and Devin.
Yeah, Hannah, I'll say, I was nervous previously. Since Hannah's been in here, we've had some real long talks, and she's a real go-getter, a real shark as far as our budget. She really does care about our residents' money, and we've had a long discussion, and we realize that this is your money. This isn't the city's play fund. So thank you so much, Hannah, for everything you do. I'm not nervous like I used to be on the budget, so, I thank you. And I also, Jeremy, you're amazing too. I know that you really, no, I'm serious, like I know you really dig into it a lot, but I do rely on your double checking as well.
I can give you full confidence coming from industry that I come from. These two right here, they can hold their own.
Yes.
And that has not been the case historically in this city.
And I really was.
It's a breath of fresh air.
And I really was hoping that you would get with her and realize that, and because I did, and I'm very happy with it. So I'm okay with this. Any other commission comment on this? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next.
Okay, item 5, approve the scope of services for construction, engineering, and inspection, CEI, of the Ramp Road parking lot and stormwater improvements, task order 16 with Jacobs Engineering Group in the amount of $88,827. This is a budgeted item. Staff representative Morgan Zulke, stormwater utility manager, recommendation approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any public comment? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next.
Item 6, adopt Resolution 2025-11, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, amending Resolution 2023-05, a master resolution for fees relating to parking, making findings, adopting revised fee schedule for parking, requiring posting of fees on website and implementation of new fees, and providing for an effective date. Staff Representative Hannah Juman, Finance Director, recommendation approve.
Any motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
I second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. We got the fees up there. Let's get these changes up.
Exhibit 1, parking fees, can we get that up?
Yep, I want to talk about Exhibit 1.
What?
It's the second page of the attachment, Karen. I'm sorry, Michael. There you go.
That one. So, when a previous mayor was here, not too long ago, our beach parking was $2 an hour. Then it went to, within a year, to $2.50 an hour. Within a year to $3 an hour. Within a year to $4 an hour. Within a year to $5 an hour. And now we're talking about, bringing it to $6 an hour, and for per day going from, I can understand maybe the per day from 20 to 25, because, you could be there 8 hours. But if you were there at $5, you'd be there for 4 hours. Per hour would be $20. I just,
I agree with you.
are we trying to, if you're trying to make it where we have less tourists and less people to come into Cocoa Beach and less burden on the police, fire, and EMS, you're also going to have less people that are going to spend money on their way here, on their way home, and at our businesses. And I just, I'm not up for, I think we should leave the per hour parking at $5.
Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the actual total revenue drop in '24 when they raised from 4 to 5? This was prior to you, but I asked that same question, is what was the drop in revenue? And they said the rate went up, they reached saturation, and then people weren't parking. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's analysis that backs up this $6,
Well, then
but it seems like it's a random number.
You had COVID where we closed the beaches,
correct.
and then we had the anomaly of, now COVID was over, and everybody wanted to come to the beaches.
Got it.
So the numbers are kind of skewed.
I agree.
My second question.
I agree with Skip and you, the $5 I think should stay.
So it says golf cart parking, $3. Okay, that's nominal. How do we get that parking pass on a golf cart if it's not registered?
You just pay the $3 an hour.
What's that? What was the question, Jeremy? What'd you ask?
What do we pay, how do we, don't you need a license plate or something to?
For a parking permit for your golf cart, you're gonna pay $20 because you're a Cocoa Beach resident for your golf
No, I'm
cart.
talking about the per hour parking, golf cart parking only is $3. I didn't even know there was a cost, but number one, how do you even pay that if you don't have a license plate? And then my third question is the Cocoa
You
Beach.
pay by the app and put your number in, put the number of the spot you're parked in.
Yeah, who they give a ticket to is his question.
That's my question. I think I would be happy to buy a resident sticker if that's what it takes and put it on the golf cart right now. In order to get one on the golf cart, you have to have it registered.
I bet they do that just for you.
That's part of the challenge is to get it registered. And that was the whole idea is we didn't have to spend the cost of insurance and registration. And then the third point is Cocoa Beach teachers, are we seriously doing that specific of a subsidy? Like, why the teachers?
I brought that up a month ago, and we got the
Okay.
consensus from the commission to go with that.
I'm okay with that, and honestly, I think you should extend that to dignitaries from other cities. For example, if you've got a mayor or something that wants to come, in the city to do other ribbon cuttings or other stuff, you can park in those spots. I know I go to other cities to do, ribbon cuttings and stuff, and
So he has that discretion, right? City manager has that discretion.
I don't know.
This is just a blanket exception. And no, I didn't consensus it, Tim.
I don't even understand. This is like the strange situation here. I mean, we just had one of our early agenda items talking about not having enough money and we want the tourists to pay for it rather than the citizens or residents of Cocoa Beach. And now you're talking about, nope, these are too high. Matter of fact, we should lower some of these parking fees. It's like, what are you talking about? I just don't, should we just fire everybody else, half of the staff in Cocoa Beach and
You're asking to subsidize one of them.
let me just finish what I was going to say on this. So I'm okay. I would like to leave it at $5 per hour, but I think that we should do 25 a day for all parking regardless, just to make it easier. And if it was me, I think 25 a day parking permits for parks and non-parks, and $5 an hour for everything else is what I think. But
We have a number of businesses that are commercial parking. Did we look at what they're charging, and are we commensurate with them?
I believe the privately owned lots through Air Garage, they are charging significantly more than what we are charging in our rate. I believe their rate, when I researched earlier, is between the $30 to $40 range per day.
I argue we should be matching that.
no, we shouldn't compete with private sector.
No, I think, I agree solidly and was thinking the same thing when he said it. Commissioner Tumulty is making the point that the folks that are using these parking spaces are not our residents. Our residents are buying parking passes, and so this doesn't impact our residents, but logically, all of our spaces are gonna fill up as discount spaces, and then I see those lots regularly packed. Every time I go by them on a weekend or anything like that. I think we should be absolutely not the discount rate. I think we should be matching. And when folks are using those lots, filling them completely up, there's a clear demand signal. So I think we should be matching the rates of the lots. It's not competing with them, but we are filling all of the spaces up. So we should be collecting that, not providing significant discount. And I don't know if we can make the change now, but I'd like to see our Cocoa Beach school staff, not just the teachers, administrators, coaches, things like that. I'd like to change the annual parking pass to be Cocoa Beach school staff.
No, I don't, Jeremy, you push back on that, and I've got a valid presentation on this. I suggested that the city employee, this was 10 years ago, that city employees got the same rate at parking stickers. And, how many of them actually got them? Not very many. And how many teachers are going to get them? Well, the ones that want to come to downtown Cocoa Beach and spend money, those folks are. A lot of them don't come down after work, to the restaurants and whatnot, because, hey, they've got to pay, not only they got to pay for, high-priced food and whatnot out down here, but they've also got to now pay for parking. It was just that's $30 more per person than you're going to get anyway, because they're not going to pay for parking.
Go ahead, Devin.
If I may, we were glad to limit it to the Cocoa Beach teachers because we did do the research with some other cities and our staff did do the legwork for it. What happened is it opened the door to nurses, military, public safety. Where do we draw the line? We have to verify IDs. We have to check them. We don't know if they're expired. We don't know if they're currently there. And then it begged the question, with what would residents feel about people who are outside of Cocoa Beach getting the discounted rate coming in? It just opened a number of questions we didn't know how to answer, and we don't know how to filter it. So limiting it to just our 3 schools that Commissioner Tumulty mentioned in the previous meeting was easier. It narrowed it down for us. If we open it up, we'd have to decide who we're opening it up for. Is it retired military, active military? It opens the door to so many more things that we'd have to verify.
Does our city staff get the special rate?
Our
Or-
city staff pays the $20 that the residents pay for parking permits.
So, I mean, you could argue that, I mean, they are city staff, but for the county in our city. I mean, that's the way I see it. You know, they're part of the men and women that
Yeah,
make.
but then, what, are you gonna let every?
Right, where do you draw the line?
Firefighters in Palm Bay are gonna,
Yes, and our $75 non-resident is for the people that are outside of the Cocoa Beach limits. That's why we've changed it to be very specific, because the way our parking permits work, they pay different property taxes according to Brevard County Property Appraiser. If they're not actually within city limits, they pay different than the other residents. So it did open that door as well, so we had to make sure it was very much labeled for you guys to see it.
so one thing, I know you told me you don't want me to talk too much. But we're in a debatable point.
Me too, I don't want to.
We're in a debatable point now between the $5 and the $6 per hour for parking. Okay?
Can we agree that we want to bring the rest all the way up to 25 for everything else?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
May I speak on that?
Yes, go ahead, AJ.
You know, I go back 25, almost 30 years of going to the beach in Cocoa Beach. And over that time, when the parking rates were a quarter for 30 minutes, and then they started ratcheting up. But when the parking rates were next to nothing, the clientele that we got on the beach is clientele that was problematic. And the more we raised our rates, the better the clientele became. And now when you look on the beach, you see uniformity and order. You see the umbrella stands they're nicely lined up. Everything looks orderly. And that's what people want. They want to come to a place where there's order and it's comfortable and safe. And that's what we're getting by having higher rates. You get a better clientele.
Okay, I didn't get to finish my thought. When you're finished, I'll finish.
So,
Are you done, AJ?
What?
Are you finished with your comments?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, I'm thinking that, yeah, raise it to $6, but do it from 4th Street South, 4th Street North, you know, different peak areas of the city, and then leave it at $5 down at 13th Street, 14th Street, 15th Street, you know, where your parking officers can tell you they're hardly ever full. So why raise the rate in an area that's hardly ever full? Why not raise the rate in the areas that are always full?
Surge pricing.
I think I wouldn't go that far.
The way the program is on those meters, by the number of the meter in the app, they can very well adjust that to where you, by the parking space you're in and what street you're on, it'll say, that's $6 an hour, please pay up. So this might need a little bit more work before we enact it.
Can we limit that more towards what really is the peak areas, which is 1st to 1st rather than all? I would go for 6 on 1st to 1st, but I don't want to raise it higher than 5 for the rest of the city.
Well, what about 2nd to 2nd?
You're not raising it for the residents.
I said for the rest of the city, I said.
I'm sorry. This is exactly what AJ just said, and it's a problem. It's not just First Street these folks are going down there as well. It's just the cost of doing business. And Cocoa Beach is, upgrading, basically. That's the plan. That's what I'd like to see as the plan. If you don't want to see it as the plan, we could drop the rates down to zero again, like they were 30-some years ago, and everybody parks for free, and there you have it. But we can't do that. I understand, but we just had a long conversation on an agenda item for our budget, talking about this, and now we're not going to do it.
We're talking about going $15 a day for these passes, $5 a day for these passes, and.
But changing the hourly rate, or just keeping the hourly rate.
The hourly rate.
Yeah, I gotta agree again with Commissioner Tumulty. If we are keeping rates so low, and we have observations that the rates tied directly to the folks that are coming in and the way they treat the beaches, the way they treat the city, our residents are therefore effectively subsidizing our parking because they're paying for it in trash cleanup. They're paying for it in public safety services. They're paying for it elsewhere. We, not matching, and I'm okay if we're looking at, hey, look, the majority of the folks that are paying premiums on parking, first to first or fourth to fourth, I get it. There are high demand areas, and I'm okay just focusing the matching to those areas, but not collecting what we could be from a parking standpoint and watching commercial lots collecting 4 times what we are asking residents to subsidize this parking through other city services, and I just don't think it makes sense.
Go ahead.
I would just like to say, for the feedback that I've heard from the parking program, from residents, from people visiting, if we're going to change the hourly rate, it's better for it to be a standard across the board. It confuses a lot of people when we tell them an area is $5 or an area is $6, plus we have to change signage that gets involved in all those maintenance costs to do that, because we have to reference resolution numbers on those signs to show the rate being charged. So each time you guys change them, we do have to then in turn change the signage, change the website, put the word out, and there may be some confusion between certain streets being 6 and certain streets being 5.
So if you're changing your resolution.
You just said you're gonna have to change the sign because of the resolution number's gonna change. So on the streets that it's gonna be $5, you can put $5, and on the streets it's gonna be $6, it'll be the same resolution.
Yes.
Until we change them all over to 6, then we got to change the signs again, so.
Depending on how you, depending on how you change the streets each time you vote, the signs would then in turn change, and it's just a little confusing for some people when we call, especially if they get a ticket, if we tell them it's really this hour rate, or it's this hour rate for different areas. It's not a problem, but there is just more involved in it.
I mean, this is all transparent to the residents, right? So there's, doesn't matter.
Their cost is.
Well, except for people that come to visit them that want to go to the beach.
Right.
And you go, oh yeah, but that's $6 an hour to go down there. Oh, can we drive your car because you got a sticker? I guess so. Now you're liable for them on your.
Personally, I wouldn't mind. You want to raise everything up to $40 and $10 an hour, and give every resident a free a pass.
Absolutely.
Send it to them for free. I think.
I'm totally open to that.
I would be okay, as long as the residents could get their passes for free, and the tourists are subsidizing by raising the rates, I'm okay with that.
You're a resident for how long?
10 seconds.
15
All right.
minutes.
And you could buy a $20
just like
extra pass, and you could buy a $75 extra
All right,
pass on top of that.
we have a motion and a second on as written.
I'd like to move to amend the motion to match our hourly and daily parking to what the commercial rates are. To take the Cocoa Beach teachers and expand that to the employees at the 3 schools.
Before we start changing it, why don't we vote on it as is and find out that ain't gonna work?
Well, usually we will move, have discussion, find that there's a nuance that we want to agree to, and we'll amend
We
it.
got 4 or 5 nuances.
And that's what I'm addressing right now.
So you're making an amendment to the motion.
Yeah,
Then you gotta vote on the amendment and the motion.
that's how it works.
And then if I got something else I wanted to add, that I can't add because you get an amendment in your motion, I vote both of those down, then we bring up mine, then yours doesn't go.
We regularly do this. So that we match hourly and daily parking rates to commercial lots. Love the idea of commercial, residence passes go to zero. Give back to our residents. And the Cocoa Beach, those 3 schools, employees at those schools get that $30 rate.
Your amendment is the $6 adjusted to match market and teachers expands to staff.
You're not gonna change it every time markets change, though.
And then, hang on. I'm
Can't
asking for
tie it to-
clarification.
You can't tie it to market rate because
Are you
they
tying
can
in-
change their parking lot rates during the season, off-season, whatever, what's gonna make them the most money. So
Are you saying residents get
you
a?
gotta
free
set a
pass?
number.
Your amendment? I think if you're gonna do that, I think you need to raise that hourly parking to $10.
I was saying match the commercial lots with the hourly and daily.
There's no commercial lot down at 12th and 13th Street and 9th Street and all that, so there's nobody to compare it to.
All right, I got something that, you guys.
So was that an amendment, Josh, or no?
Looking for a second.
Mechanically, how do we do that? I don't, because now this needs to iterate.
I kind of feel like we need to have this discussion, and then we need to bring it back to them to come back to us. I think right now, I think we just need to all have a real good powwow and an understanding about what we all want to see, and kind of come to an agreement on what we can all agree on, and then we'll hand it to them, write it up now, what we all agree on, and no actual votes tonight.
Right, you table it till the next meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's not the motion. The motion is to approve it as is.
Well, then
right, so we can,
you can motion to
we can
table
pull that off,
after there's
too.
a first and a second.
but Hannah and Devin just got all the accolades from you as that they were so awesome, and they put this together. They didn't just arbitrarily come up with these numbers. I'm guessing they put significant amount of time into coming up with this to generate revenue for the city, and you're changing everything on it.
No,
As if you've done research on it,
just these ones.
and they haven't, and you haven't. So I don't understand your thought processes here
Okay,
at all.
well, you got a motion in
conflicting
a
all
second,
day.
the mayor can call a vote on it and
You
see if
can.
he gets 3 votes,
Well, we,
as written.
Let me see, Hannah looks like she might want to say something.
So the estimated revenue that we calculated based off of the increased rates would come up to about $673,000 annually, based upon what we have presented here on the, for the resolution. The ideology behind it, like we stated earlier, is that by changing the hourly and daily rates, again, it would be an impact to the tourist, not to the taxpayer. We did not change the rates, as you could see, to any of the resident rates or to the $75 annual permit rate for those that live outside of the Cocoa Beach limits. So that was our intent with this, just to make sure that it's not impacting the residents themselves, because most residents, of course, if they are going to the beaches, they're going to the local businesses, they're supporting the community, they have that parking permit and they utilize it.
if I can interject on that, that parking permit for $20 barely covers the cost of printing those tickets and the effort that the city employees have to do to get them out, whether it's in the mail or in person if they come to City Hall, because once in a while they can. But $20 is, all of a sudden we're gonna absorb that too. I mean, that's probably close to $100,000.
I said I'd go with that if you guys wanted to raise it up to $40 an hour.
Maybe not 100,000.
Hey, Michael.
Maybe it's like
Mike,
50,000.
I'm not
Do we
saying-
have a current motion on this as written in a
Yes.
second?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Mayor,
Still
would you
discussing.
please
Okay.
call the question, and let's vote on it and see if we can get the votes for the way it is?
I thought we were going to send it back to
We
have,
can still,
If it
are
doesn't.
you afraid to
if it
vote
doesn't-
on it
If it
as
doesn't go
is?
through, we'll send it back. How's that?
that'll work.
Agreed.
Okay?
So a no vote is to send it
A
back.
no
is what
vote is
we're
to send it
saying.
back, and we have a good discussion right now of what we all can agree on and come to agreement with. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. So, now I think we should have a little discussion here about what we all think we can agree on and get this passed for in the future.
Let's go one by one then.
Okay. What would you like to see, Jeremy?
Hannah, so you may not know this question or the answer, but the limit on the businesses to 10, is that going to be an impact? Because there are a lot of businesses that have more than 10 employees.
Then they just pay the 75.
It looks like that's red text, like that was a new addition on this revision, or limited to 10 per business. It used to be, I don't know what prorates 8-1 means.
So for the business parking permits, that's actually right now currently 8. We've increased it to 10 for that reason, because we've gotten some feedback from the businesses that they have more than 8 employees, and 10 seemed to be a good number.
I gotcha. So it was 8 in the previous policy.
It's
That's
8
striking out and
it's 8
going to 10.
currently right now.
Okay,
We want to
gotcha.
increase
Okay.
it to
That was my
10.
concern, is I didn't want to, it appeared that we were adding this limitation. It used to be unlimited, now it's going to 10, because I think that would be an issue. I agree with you. Raise the price as high as you can, make it free for residents, but I can see Skip's point.
So, you know, I'm a construction worker. I work for, maybe $25 an hour. I'm in the trades. I live in Port St. John. I live in Cocoa. I live in Merritt Island, and I surf. And the streets, that's the place to go surf. And you got to get there pretty early to get to the free parking at Mersky Park at 16th Street, okay? Otherwise, you either got to buy your $75 permit to be out of the city limits to go surf on the streets. Or if you're going with a buddy in a different car and you're, we're not in my car, we don't have the sticker, how much is it going to cost us an hour? Those people, they take a surfboard and a bar of wax to the beach, maybe a towel,
So $75 a year to surf sounds like a pretty good deal. I don't know.
Well, all I'm
$6
saying
a
is,
month.
I think that non-commercial parking streets should be no more than what they are now, $5 an hour for parking, because you can ask your parking attendants, those streets are never, unless we got a swell, those streets are never full of cars, okay? People with stickers or without stickers, paid parking or with sticker parking, they're not full. In the crunch area, say 2nd Street to 2nd Street, raise it. I don't care how high you want to raise it. Raise it to what these lots are charging around here. That's fine with me too, but I don't know what they're charging, so I can't tell you a number. But, and then if you want to raise it, down, other commercial areas, down toward the pier or something, or down toward Shepherd Park, does this even address the parking fees at Shepherd Park? I don't see it on the list.
Yeah, it's the $25 per day at parks and the garage.
Oh, at parks, that includes Shepherd Park, okay.
So Hannah, do we know location spots where we could do exactly what he's describing and understand the revenue impact of saying, hey, let's put this zone? Other than,
Yes.
I understand the cost of signs and getting out of sync there, totally get that, but is there a revenue model we could do that in certain zones, see what the
There is
impact are?
the passport application that we use. It does give us a breakout by zone, mostly by which park area it is, what the location is, generally speaking. But as Devin stated, it does become a little bit convoluted if there's different rates set for different streets and different areas of the city. Even if the volume of cars and the demand is different throughout the city, which it always will be, it creates an issue with the passport application itself, charging different rates for different zones, different areas, along with signage and confusion to the residents as a whole with what rate are we charging in what location, despite having proper signage in those location lots.
Okay, so what I do like the $6 an hour on the First Street, because they are busy with tourists, completely busy with tourists.
Yeah.
And the other place, on First Street North and First Street South, there's parking lots there that are charging significantly more. I would, to combat some of the missing revenue of the $1 on the other ones, I really think, like you said, being uniform is a lot easier. I'd like to see $25 a day on non-parks and parks and parking garages across the board. And keep the $20 annual resident, keep everything else the same. The only thing I'd like to see is raise all the parking to $25 a day and the $6 for the peak areas on First Street. I think that's a good compromise for what everybody kind of wants to do, but go ahead, Tim, what do you like?
I like the $6 per hour parking. Your suggestion to go $25 for all the parks, or for all the parking facilities, whether it's parks or parking garages, $25. I don't think that having different zones for different pricing per hour is a good thing. It is confusing. It's not about the price of the signs, it's about the confusion it causes with tourists that come in. And that word gets out. It's like, well, I don't know. If you go down there, it's $5. But if up here, I think it's $6. Well, I'm not sure. Is it First Street? Is it 4th Street? I don't, it's just confusing. Well, let's go to Daytona. Or whatever. I don't know.
So
I don't see it. I'm just.
Then would you say 25 for both these and then keep that at 5?
The only thing I would change is the per day at non-parks to 25.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything else is the same.
415.
So could we compromise on $5 for this, but raise everything else to $25? That way it's uniform?
If that'll get it through, yeah, and we'll see what happens. I think, sure.
Would you be okay with that? Keep it at 5 and then put these at 25 each?
Revert to 5, 25 all day.
25 at non-parks
And parks, yes. 25 across the board to make it easy. So that way everything is uniform. All the parking is uniform at 5. All the parking that's day passes is uniform at 25.
So I don't know if you guys are talking with the folks that own these parking lots, but knowing folks, it is unbelievable how much money they make, right? It's insane, and it's variable, and people park there anyway. Like, it doesn't confuse them. They pull up, they see what the rates are, they pay it, they park, they go to the beach, and these people are raking in money hand over fist. So I agree with you. Some folks may say, I don't like variable parking rates. I'm going to Daytona. I wouldn't be surprised if Daytona's got variable parking rates, right? People are paying. What you think they're going to do doesn't matter. What they actually do matters. The behavior of folks associated with parking, they are paying, and they're paying through the nose at the lots, and they don't care. They've already packed up the car. They've already gone through the hecticness of getting here. They find a spot, and they may mutter about the rates. They pay it, and they go to the beach. I'd really like to see what the rates are associated with the commercial properties, and if we want to limit it to the fourth piece, but people are going to pay. They are paying. They do pay. And let's start making sure our residents are not subsidizing the tourists that are coming in.
Well, I don't want to, with your recommendations, I don't want to do the tiered parking. I want everything across the board, hourly parking the same anywhere you go, and daily parking the same across the board wherever we go. So I think that just makes it easier for everybody.
So they've analyzed it, and it was $600 and some odd thousand projected increase with what we have here. If we only change the per day at non-parks to $25, it'd probably could potentially go up to $700,000, and then everything else stays the same.
Have we done any assessment of the pay-for lots, commercial lots, to see across the city what they're setting their rates at?
They vary. They'll vary the rate according to how they're filling up.
Yeah.
So one car comes in, the first one comes in, and they'll charge 15. And then 2 more come in, and they'll charge 20.
Yeah.
And then a 4th one will come in, they'll charge 25.
And they've got a software package that does that.
Yeah.
And they're...
Or you could do like the pier. They go from $20 to $50 in the same day.
Yeah.
And people pay it.
It's like Amazon. They literally are mining the data.
Absolutely.
To know exactly what the demand is.
My thing is, and we don't even have to be great at
So it
this.
sounds
There are
like we might
companies that are.
have 3 votes now on the $6 per hour parking. And the only thing
leaving
we
so
would
much money on the
change
table.
would be
Crazy.
the per day non-parks from $20 to $25.
I could do that. If you want to do that, we'll get this off the board, we'll get it done. All right.
Make the motion.
Go ahead, Janice, because this is different. So anyways, I want to amend a motion to.
No, we got to start with a new motion.
Okay.
Last one failed.
Okay, so, listen to all your comments. I think you're pretty much on the right track. I wanted to comment on the $75 parking permit. That's $6.25 a month. Who's not going to pay $6.25 a month to come to the wonderful Cocoa Beach?
People don't.
Well, some people don't. And I don't want Commissioner Tumulty to get upset about my observation. However, when you brought that suggestion up about the teachers, hey, I love teachers too. I had a lot of great teachers. There was never a motion, a vote to do that. And the point I'd like to make about that is that in doing a lot of these things, nobody ever collects the data. How many teachers, how many permits are you talking about? You just made a general statement. Then you said it's 4 schools. You said most of them probably wouldn't want to do it, but the ones that are really devoted to doing that, maybe they'll pay the $75. It's $6.50 a month for a $75 parking sticker. You know, you just, thank you for all your comments about what the residents put up with and how maybe we should get a free parking pass, but I know that AJ fought tooth and nail for the 2-tiered parking for residents and non-residents just to have this program and to hold it down over the years that the state and everybody else has come in to take shots at us about it. I wanted to ask one question about, and I also, opening it up to the teachers, those comments about other groups that want to take advantage of it too, or even the mayors from out of town, give them a note, says, hey, I'm a visiting mayor and I can park for free today. I wouldn't go there. It's going to get exaggerated. But what is this residential or non-resident parking permit for outside Cocoa Beach city limits? What does that mean?
That's the annual pass for.
That's what you just talked about, the $75 for those that don't live in Cocoa Beach.
For people that don't live in Cocoa Beach.
Well, non-resident's a non-resident.
Right.
This is rewarded double.
Well, it just, I mean, I didn't know if there was some special place, like you're going to have a little.
Wasn't that clarification like
Enclave
Snug Harbor
at
folks?
Snug Harbor.
It was the Snug Harbor folks, because they say I'm a Cocoa Beach resident, but they're
Right.
technically outside
And
the
the
city
people
limits.
down at Cape Canaveral, halfway to Cape Canaveral, still have Cocoa Beach addresses.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Thanks.
All right, so
What do I got to do here, Skip?
make a motion to go with the way it is, except you want to change the third line item down from $20 to $25.
Okay, so you made that.
No, I didn't make it.
Okay, you want to make that?
You make it.
Okay, I make a motion for everything the same except for the third item down to go to 25 instead of 20. Can I get a second?
A second.
All right.
I got an amendment.
Go ahead, Skip.
I want us with people with the yearly sticker to be able to park at Shepherd Park.
I agree.
Amendment.
Can we do that? Is it possible for us to, I know that the county has something to do with it, but I don't care what it takes. Get with the county and try to make that work.
We need to negotiate with the county on that.
Then we need to negotiate with the county.
Yeah.
Then I've been wanting this since before
Well,
I got it.
you got a thing that says, you got a thing right there that you're going to charge people for, well, where to go?
This is Karen's.
I like this better.
dining room. Is this your
I
dining
like
room,
this
Karen?
better.
Looks tasty.
You got one that says parks and, right there, it says per day at parks and garage. So you pay $25 per day at parks, that's Shepherd Park, Fisher Park, and the garage, okay? So,
They can ask us to pick up a lifeguard there. They'll surely give us the rating.
No.
They're going to want us to pick
No, I don't think with the current commission, I don't think they would.
can we park
It'll be
at,
free.
what about Fisher Park? Can we park at Fisher Park with their stickers?
That's our
Right
park.
now, we can.
That's our
because
park.
it's a city park.
Right.
But we can't park at Shepherd Park, even though it's a city park.
Right behind downtown.
So make an amendment that they do everything in their power to try to renegotiate that.
No, I'll withdraw my amendment, and you gotta pull your hand back on that one.
All right, well, I still want you guys to try to do that.
Becky will figure it out.
Okay.
The motion is 20 to 25 is the only
20 to
change.
25.
That's the only change.
Got a motion and a second.
See if we can get 3 votes.
I think we're leaving money on the table by not
you
doing
better
surge pricing, but I'll support
clarify.
this.
Just get this going, we can always.
Right.
Yes, go
Sorry,
ahead.
just for the motion, I'm just clarifying because there's been a lot of back
Yes.
and forth.
Exactly as written,
Exactly as
except
written.
number 3 goes from $20 to $25.
So it'll be $6 per hour, or we're saying 5?
Six.
$6,
All-
$3, 25.
Three.
Right,
25.
Right.
20, 75, 30, 30, 40, 53, 250.
Everything is exactly the same.
Okay, I just want to make sure for the minute. Thank
Okay.
you.
I call the
All
question.
right. I got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
All opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-1, and please look into Shepherd Park.
all right, some more fee stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
no, actually, hold on real quick. But no, we were still on that subject. We need to look into other parking areas that are in the city that are not complying with our parking standards as far as dirt lots. They are creating a blight in our downtown area. If they are operating as a business and taking money, they are a business. If they're not collecting, if they're not paying their property tax and they're operating a business every single day of the month, there might be an issue there. I want to make sure that our city is maintained to a proper standard, and if you're operating under a nonprofit, but you're pulling a full-on business, we need to look into that. Okay, thank you. Next.
Okay, item 7, adopt resolution 2025-14, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, amending the fees for the various facilities of the Cocoa Beach Golf Course Country Club, making findings and providing for an effective date. This is a change to the fee structure for Cocoa Beach Country Club facility. Staff Representative Andy Segarra, Leisure Services Director, recommendation approve.
Approve as read.
Second.
All right, I'm looking at this, and a lot of the stuff didn't change, but the Cocoa Beach Country Club Auditorium, there was a bunch of changes. And then there's there's changes to the ball fields and rec center, minor changes.
No, all of our fees tonight are just for the Cocoa Beach Country Club facility itself.
That's all we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's go with the increases as they're showing. They're like $50 a whack and a little bit more, except for the patio.
Okay, we got a motion?
Vote on it.
You got a second?
You did.
Yeah.
Okay, any public comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I thought you.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
All right.
Thought you would like that, Tim.
All right, next.
Change them every meeting if we want to.
We could.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal.
All right, next.
Okay, item 8, adopt resolution 2025-15, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, establishing and updating a comprehensive schedule of fees for the fire department regarding special events, fire safety inspections, equipment use, training, and related fire services, providing for severability, conflicts, and effective dates. Staff Representative, Fire Chief Justin Grimes, recommendation discuss.
Move to approve resolution 2025-15 on.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any public comment?
Let's go for it.
Do
really.
you want to just come up real quick and explain?
No, there isn't any real quick about this. It's
Okay.
12.
Hey, look, I know you like to talk, But just
There's
a-
no real quick, it's
a
12
summarized-
pages of changes.
A summarized
I haven't said a
version.
word tonight, you guys have.
Just a summarized, an AI summarized version, real quick.
Okay.
Costs
Easy.
went up,
All
fees went
right,
up.
in order to maintain a balanced budget and avoid diverting funds from other critical services, it's essential that the fire department operates with financial self-sufficiency, where appropriate. Updating the fee schedule ensures that the use of these specialized services are paying their fair share and appropriate share of the cost. So just as you guys said, like, you know, we have all these special events, they cost money, we can't subsidize them, and we haven't updated any of our inspection fees since 2015.
Okay. It wasn't 12 pages.
Sounds good.
20 pages of changes.
All right, no public comment and no commission comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We are adjourned.